Hey, it's Wes. You ready to test audio? Okay. 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 Thanks. All right, bye. Can you hear Mike too?
I can hear Mike too. Can you hear Mike?
Elijah, can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Good deal. Broadcast. Okay. All right.
Yeah, as usual. It's okay.
Well, I'm glad I had that. Like that, it was lucky. Well, the other thing is
full history, and this one tonight is a big one for both teams. And if you look at the records, you might say ho hum. There's probably not going to be much to it tonight. That's why I say, don't look at the details. Look at the big picture. Yes, St. James is 1-5, coming off a heartbreaking, disappointing, hard-fought loss last week to their biggest rivals, the Trinity Wildcats. But that was 7 days ago. And for an 18-year-old boy, that's an eternity. So it's easy, or at least it's not impossible, to turn away from the effects of last Friday night and turn toward the big picture. And here it is, 4 games left to play. All 4 games are region games. St. James 1-2 in the region. Booker T. Washington 3-0. Sounds like it's impossible ground to make up, right? Well, win tonight. Booker T. Washington becomes 3-1, and St. James becomes 2-2, and it's game on. With 4 games left to play, St. James still holds its playoff future in its own hands. The Trojans really don't need any help to continue their amazing playoff run. So it's St. James versus Booker T. Washington. Let's look at the forest, not the trees. And maybe tonight will be a good one. We'll be right back. This is St. James Football on WRBZ.
Great Smiles start at Montgomery Dentistry on Woodner Boulevard. Doctors Anderson, Robertson, and Bittner have over 55 years combined dental experience and are proud to be an active part of the St. James community. Montgomery Dentistry accepts most major dental insurance plans, voted best dental practice for 8 years in a row. Ask them about financing options to allow you to get your dental care now and pay later. Located on Woodmer Boulevard. Follow them on Facebook and visit them in montgomerydentistry.com.
If you want to see your money grow without a whole lot of fuss, well, you're sure to find some peace of mind at Riverbank and Trust.
Hi, this is Billy Wiggum with Riverbank and Trust. When you need a winning game plan for your finances, trust our home team of community bankers. From local banking expertise to newest innovations and technology, we have all the right strategies for your financial success. Experience the home team advantage for yourself at Riverbank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Shelly Nichols. If you see home ownership in your future, the future is now. Helping people get mortgages is what I do at Cross Country Mortgage. I'll help you find the home financing option that's right for you. Go to my website at ccm.com/Shelly Nichols and follow me on social media. Contact me today at Cross Country Mortgage about a home loan. Equal housing opportunity, subject to credit approval, NMLS 430123, company NMLS 3029, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This is Judge J.C. Love in the Montgomery County Probate Court, wishing the St. James Trojans football team a winning and successful football season. Go Trojans. And while we're cheering for victory on the field, we're also protecting victories at home. Don't let property title fraud take away what you've worked so hard to build. Sign up today for the Probate Court's REACT program, the Real Estate Activity Alert and Contact Tool. It's free, it's fast, and it helps safeguard your property. Protect your property, protect your future. Learn more at www.reactnow.com. That's www.reactnow.com. Go Trojans.
Well, we're back here in Tuskegee. Well, actually, J.R. Brown and Wes Stewart are back here in Tuskegee. Sonny Brassville and Brad Armagoss not on the broadcast tonight, although I'll probably join you at halftime with some scores and updates. It's a road game for St. James, although it's not all that far from Carlisle Field out over here to the campus of Booker T. Washington High School, just out Interstate 85 and hang a right, and you're almost there. St. James traveled here 3 years ago now and won a game against Booker T. Washington. In fact, the teams have only met 3 times. This will be the 4th game between the teams, and the Trojans hold all 3 wins, hoping to extend that to 4-0 tonight. And as we said in the opening, we've reached the part of the season, where people begin to think about and look at the playoffs. And what we see here in Region 3 of Class 4A is a very, very unusual stacking of the teams with records. I'm not so sure in all my years around high school football that I've ever seen a breakdown at what is essentially the midway point as clean as this one is. There are 3 teams with 3-0 records in an 8-team region. There are 2 teams that are 0-3 and essentially out of the playoffs. And we're not going to talk much about Talladega and Munford because essentially at 0-3, there's not a pathway for them, or at least not a realistic pathway. And then 3 teams in the middle at 1-2 records. It's why we said in the opening, you might look at the Forest, you might look at the record, 1-5. Oh, the season's over. Let's move along. When's basketball practice starts? And how do we turn our attention to the other sports and activities at St. James? But the truth is, because of who each team has played and the way the schedules break down, all the Trojans need to do is win the rest of their games. Now, that's a tall order when you're at 1-5. But again, we've talked about it up until this point. The Trojans have played an extremely difficult schedule. Unless something crazy happens, the 5 teams that the Trojans have lost to so far in this season will all 5 make the playoffs. And at least 3 of them will very likely win region championships. So it's not like St. James has gone 1-5 against a schedule of teams that are never going to make the playoffs. The Trojans have had an extremely difficult schedule, playing shorthanded, as we've mentioned several times. But it is time to begin to look at what are the possibilities for the season, where could the Trojans go, and how could that happen? So let's talk about the region teams for a few minutes before we turn our attention specifically to Booker T. Washington, one of the teams that are 3-0 in region play. Bullock County at 3-0 and Handley at 3-0. The Handley record is no real surprise. 3-0 in region play, 4-1 so far on the season. And that 4-1 record includes a loss to perennial power Clay Central. And so Handley is right where you would have expected them to be. Now, the other 2 teams sitting at 3-0, Bullock County, 5-0 on the season, 3-0 in region play. They've never been 5-0 in the history of the school. And so that is a bit of a surprise. But they have a relatively tough schedule for the rest of the season, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. And then the other, Booker T. Washington, the Trojans' opponent here tonight. And they've got a really tough schedule as they play both Handley and Bullitt County. With those three teams at 3-0, they've not played each other, but certainly what's ahead of all three of those teams are 2 games against the other two with 3-0 records, and then 2 games that they will probably be favored to win. And if you've been with us, you know St. James has played Bullitt County and Handley already. After tonight, St. James will have played the 3 top teams and will have 3 games remaining, one against Munford, who's 0-4 on the season, one against Cleveland County, who's 1-3, and one against Tallahassee, who is 2-3. And so I think you get to see the picture when you recognize that there are 4 teams that make the playoffs, and St. James has all its opportunities ahead of it. Bullitt County plays, again, they play Booker T. Washington and Handley, along with Talladega, who's 1-4 on the season, and then Cleveland County. So Bullitt County really needs a win against Talladega and Cleveland County, and they're almost certainly in the playoffs. Handley as well plays Bullock and Booker T. Washington. They play Talladega, a team that's 1-4 and 0-3, and then they play Tallahassee. One win probably gets Handley in the playoffs, and likewise, Booker T. Washington plays Munford, Bullitt County, and Handley, and then they play St. James tonight. And again, a win tonight against the Trojans would all but lock things up for Booker T. Washington. In fact, mathematically, would essentially lock things up for Booker T. Washington. So it's a big, big game for the Eagles tonight as well. But for the Trojans, win and you become 2-2, and then you've got a Munford team on your schedule that's 0-4 on the season. You've got a Cleveland County team that's 1-3 on the season, and then you've got Tallahassee that's at 2-3, a team that the opening week of the season was boat raced by Montgomery Academy, a team that the Trojans took all the way to the wire and fell 14-7. So it's why I say look at the forest, not the trees. The Trojans have a great opportunity that begins tonight here on the road. You lose the game tonight, it's still mathematically, in fact, it's still likely to happen if you win the last 3 games, but the pathway becomes much cleaner. The forest becomes much easier to walk through if you can get away with a win tonight. Now, that's not going to be easy. Booker T. Washington comes into tonight's game at 3-1. Their only loss to 5A Eufaula, 32-18. They've defeated Talladega 19-6. Now, that's the only common opponent with St. James. The Trojans defeated Talladega, the Tigers, 31-14. So fairly comparable scores there. And then Booker T. Washington has pulled off what someone would have to certainly call close to a miraculous win against Tallahassee. Watching that tape this week, they got pushed around at the line of scrimmage pretty well, but they defeated Tallahassee 17-14. Tallahassee made a bushel basket full of mistakes, 3 or 4 turnovers in the game, one of which Booker T. Washington was able to scoop up and run in for a touchdown, and then kicked a field goal on the last play of the game. And in the fourth quarter, they turned the whole offense over to their outstanding 4-star receiver, Marquez Daniel. And we'll talk about Marquez in a moment. But you're going to hear JR call his name over and over tonight. And then last 2 Friday nights ago, they defeated Cleveland County 24-7. Now, interesting, last Friday night they were to play Bowden, Georgia, and there was a bad thunderstorm over there. They actually played 5 or 6 minutes of the first quarter, and then the thunderstorm lasted so long they called the game off, and the Eagles traveled back here to Alabama, officially scored as a forfeit, but not counting that in the record. On the field, Booker T. Washington at 3-1. It's an interesting offense. We'll tell you about a couple of air quotes, crazy formations that St. James will see tonight. A 2-quarterback system. Mahai Bedgood, a junior, has played some at quarterback, but most of the time it's been Jeremiah Kite, who has thrown for 331 yards on the season. He's 31 for 66, so almost 50%. He's thrown 4 touchdown passes to 2 interceptions. Bedgood, 2 interceptions. Bedgood has thrown for 1 touchdown on 5 of 7 passing for the season. And then, as I said, there's 6'5", 215-pound Marquez Daniel, who has played a little bit of quarterback in the fourth quarter against Tallahassee, down 14-7. The coaching staff, including head coach DeAndre Austin in his second season here in Tuskegee, just turned the game over to Mr. Daniel. They put him in the quarterback position. And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way at all, but began running what many, many coaches would call a middle school offense. They just snapped it to Marquez, and he ran left or he ran right. He attempted 1 pass, I believe, eventually got it in for the tying score. Tallahassee made another pretty big mistake, got the ball back to Booker T. Washington. The Eagles drove down and then won the game on a very, very short field goal, about the length of an extra point, to win 17-14. We don't expect to see Marquez play quarterback tonight, although it's pretty clear that if they need him to play quarterback, they will not be there'll be no hesitation in putting him there. But his forte is catching the football. In 4 games on the field, he has 17 catches for 184 yards and 4 touchdowns. Now, he scored 2 of their 6 rushing touchdowns. He scored 4 of their 5 touchdowns through the air. So he has 6 of the 11 touchdowns on the season for Booker T. Washington. So you can put a big spotlight on him. 184 yards receiving. The number 2 receiver, DeAndre Robinson, has 4 catches for 54 yards. So when the ball goes in the air, it's toward Marquez. When they get in trouble, it's Marquez. Oh, and on defense, a little bit of an unusual alignment for the Eagles. They play Marquez Daniel in the middle of the field, 15 yards off the line of scrimmage, and then their alignment in gap responsibility is split among the other 10 players. It appears very, very much from watching from film. The Marquez Daniel is just going to play the middle of the field. His job is to prevent explosive long plays on offense by the other team. To score against Booker T. Washington, you are going to drive the football because their very best athlete is in the middle of the field, and he's not letting anyone run past him. We mentioned we'll see a bit of an unusual formation from time to time. Actually, you'll see a bit of unusual formations a bunch of the time here tonight. You'll see very often only 4 offensive linemen rather than 5, and no tight end lined up there with the center, and then groups of players split out almost all the way to the sidelines on the left or the right, depending on the wide side of the field, making you as a defense move 3 or 4 or maybe 5 players all the way to the wide side of the field. And now the game becomes a 6-on-6 game or a 6-on-7 game in the middle of the field. And because of their speed, they believe that gives them a huge advantage. And watching tape this week, that is how the majority of their points have been scored. You take away the throwing to Marquez Daniel, which most of which have been on little quick bubble screens and just short out passes to him. Not a lot of deep throwing. And as sure as I say that, they'll, on the first play of the game, they'll throw the ball deep for 70 or 80 yards. But it's been mostly short passes. The quarterback, Kite, is not a great thrower. But what they've done is tried to spread teams out and utilize their speed to their advantage. And they will stand up and throw it out there to that bunch formation that's all the way across the field. Before you ask, yes, it is a legal formation. It's not necessary that the 7 men that are required to line up on the line of scrimmage, it's not necessary that they all be shoulder to shoulder. You can sprint them out, just as if you were watching the Alabama-Georgia game last Saturday night. You saw the Crimson Tide split out its offensive tackle all the way across the field. So it will be something like that tonight for Booker T. Washington when they have the football. A bit unusual, but effective. This team comes into the game tonight 3-1, 3-0 in region play. This team in the history of the school has only made the playoffs 3 times. They've only won 4 playoff games. They won 3 of those in the 2023 season when they made it all the way to the 4A semifinals and lost 28-0 to Catholic on the Knights' march to a state championship. They also made the playoffs in 2022 and 2016. And other than that, they've been unable to make the playoffs in the entire history of the school. So this is a big game here in Tuskegee. There's no question. And there will be a big crowd here tonight. They've got an outstanding band. So the Trojans will have to contend with noise as well as they try to get out of the forest and to begin moving toward a possible what would be a 12th straight season in the playoffs. So it's St. James versus Booker T. Washington, a big game for both teams. And we'll be back to take a look at the game from the St. James perspective in a couple of minutes. You stay with us. This is St. James football on WRBC.
Discover your stunning new look at Doug's 2 Salon. Find your breathtaking new hairstyle or color with our expert stylists and salon artists, and look absolutely radiant with our extensions, balayage, and keratin treatments. You'll find products from Aveda and Bumble & Bumble, so even when you leave the salon, you keep looking sensational. Call to make your appointment and look and feel amazing today.
I'm Cliff Meidel, 2-time Olympic athlete in the sport of sprint kayaking. In 1986, my life changed forever when I struck 3 buried high-voltage cables while working on an excavation site. 30,000 volts of electricity blew through my body. I'm lucky to be alive and able to walk again. Accidents like mine can be avoided with a simple call to 811.
Accidents can happen to anyone. Know what's below. Always call 811 before digging. Brought to you by Alabama 811.
Hello, I'm Sheriff Derek Cunningham of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. We're a proud supporter of St. James football. Being a member of this community and knowing that these students are part of our community, we at the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office would like to let you know that we support you this football season and we're here for you this football season.
If joint pain or athletic injury has you out of a game, call the Houston Clinic team at 334-245-6605. Doctors Lee Murphy and Derek Wessner are seasoned healthcare providers working to provide high-quality sports medicine care to the athletes of the River region. Dr. Murphy is an orthopedic surgeon. His clinical focus is on shoulder, elbow, and knee disorders. Dr. Wessner is a veteran and primary care sports medicine physician specializing in the primary care treatment of all musculoskeletal conditions. Visit Doctors Murphy and Wessner at Houston Clinic on Taylor Road in Montgomery.
As we march closer to kickoff here in Tuskegee, this is a big region game between St. James and Booker T. Washington. And again, we'll expect the Trojans on offense to keep the football on the ground. They've thrown a total of 18 passes in the last 2 weeks since St. James moved to a version of the wing T offense, but they've been able to run the football very, very effectively. In fact, in the last 2 games, 481 yards on the ground and 7 rushing touchdowns, an average of 6.3 yards per carry. And if you're wondering, well, gosh, that sounds more like a St. James football team, and it really, really does. But in the previous 4 games, the Trojans had rushed for less than 140 yards combined in 4 games. So since making this shift, and it is a it's an old offense, but it's an offense that remains effective. It relies on a tight end and a wing back that is almost always lined up behind the tight end. The quarterback will be under center most of the night, and that's, again, very unusual in today's football. And behind the quarterback most of the time, two running backs, one that will generally be straight behind the quarterback like an I formation, and then the other running back flanked to the right or to the left. And with the wing back and the tight end gives you a chance to get one side unbalanced with more blockers on one side of the center than a team can normally line up on that side of the field. And that's part of the idea. There's also some misdirection on this rushing attack. And in the last 2 weeks, certainly Grant Phillips and Miles Zakowski have done a great job carrying the football in the last 2 weeks. Grant Phillips with more than 230 yards on the ground and Zakowski with 140. And so you'll hear both of their names a great deal tonight, both on offense and defense for the Trojans, because Phillips is the anchor of the secondary, and Zakowski, if you've been with us, you know he is an active, fast, not the biggest linebacker you will see, but he certainly is active in the heart and soul of this St. James defense. So the Trojans offense has turned to the running attack. We talked last week, Brad and I, about the need for the Trojans to be able to complete 6, 8, maybe even 10 passes a game. And that's really not been something the Trojans have been able to do so far. In fact, in the last 2 weeks, the Trojans, last week, 3 of 9 against Trinity for 7 yards. And the week before in the win over Talladega, 2 of 9 for 27 yards. So only 34 yards through the air. And as we hit this stretch of region games, St. James has put enough of itself on tape for the opponents to know that you've got to stop the run. And if St. James can run the football, they've got a really, really good chance to win this game tonight. If they're not able to run the football, if you're coaching against the Trojans, you have to believe that you've got a great opportunity to pin St. James up and turn them into a team that just can't move the football. The Trojans will have a distinct advantage tonight in the kicking game. Dylan Hines continues to excel in the punting game for the Trojans. Had a good night again last Friday night against Trinity. Not as good a night as he had hoped in field goals, as he was 0 of 2 on field goals. One of those in the second half, and it just becomes very, very difficult for a player to play the position of tight end and defensive end almost every play, and then be able to go out there and kick a 45-yard field goal. He missed on field goals of 49 and 37, and the 37-yard field goal just looked like fatigue to me. But the Trojans able to boot the ball away. Trinity started last Friday night 6 times at its 20-yard line on 6 touchbacks. And so that's very, very important for this St. James defense tonight to try to control the field position and to force Booker T. Washington to drive the length of the field. This St. James defense, it's really been this Jekyll and Hyde thing all season, and the numbers are almost so staggering that it's hard to believe I'm not making these up. But in the games against Hanley, Bullock County, and Trinity, St. James has given up 701 yards on the ground. That's an average of 233 yards a game, and the Trojans have yielded a total of 11 rushing touchdowns in those 3 games. Trinity got 4 rushing touchdowns last Friday night with 196 yards on the ground. But in the other 3 games, against Montgomery Academy Catholic, and Talladega, the Trojans have given up a total of 128 yards rushing, which is just 43 yards on average a game, 190 yards on average less than the other three games that we mentioned against Handley, Bullitt County, and Trinity, and only 2 rushing touchdowns in those 3 games to compare to 11 rushing touchdowns given up in the other 3 games. O-line football coaches tell you there's 2 keys to winning football: running the football, stopping the run. If St. James can run the football tonight and stop the run tonight, Trojans have an excellent chance to win this football game. If this is if this is the good St. James rushing defense that we saw against 2 very good teams, Montgomery Academy and Catholic, and then Talladega, St. James has an excellent chance. If we see the rushing defense against Bullitt County and Handley and Trinity, then St. James is going to have a hard time getting its hands back on the football because, again, this new wing T rushing attack for St. James is predicated on ball control. It's predicated on shortening the game, and that's very, very important for St. James tonight. And we'll see how things go. We know the Trojans have had a good week of practice, and we're going to have a chance to have a conversation with head coach Larry Ware here in a couple of minutes to get some more detailed insight into what's a very, very important game as this St. James football team tries to extend its 11-year streak of making the high school football playoffs. We'll take a 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll visit with head coach Larry Ware. You stay with us. We'll be right back. This is St. James football on RBZ.
Go, go, go. That's life. And at CB&S Bank, we help you keep up. We're redesigning financial freedom with the most sophisticated digital products. Check balances, pay bills, transfer funds, manage your card, and even deposit checks from wherever you are. Make purchases using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile device with Mobile Wallet in participating stores and restaurants. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
From all the employees at Adams Drugs, we want to say thank you to those who already trust us with your health care and prescription needs. If you are looking for a pharmacy, we would like to invite you to visit our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find a location nearest to you. We have 12 locations in the River region with services such as wellness screenings, blood pressure checks, and compounding, just to name a few. Please come in and experience the Adams Drugs difference. We look forward to serving you and your family.
All aboard for Healthy Smiles. At Dentistry for Children, they love to make kids smile. Dr. Schreiber and Dr. Thomas specialize in pediatric dentistry, treating infants, children, and patients with special needs. You can trust Dentistry for Children to provide the highest quality care for children of all ages. Beautiful smiles begin at Dentistry for Children. Call today to make your appointment with their professional, caring staff. Dentistry for Children in Montgomery and Wetumpka, proudly making kids smile for over 40 years.
Nothing gets your attention like the pain you get when it hurts to walk. When you have that pain, reach out to Southern Specialty Physicians. Dr. Brian Sellers is a board-certified vascular surgeon with over 15 years of experience. And Dr. Brandon McCullum is an experienced podiatrist. Southern Specialty Physicians are working to keep Alabama walking. Located across from the AUM Water Tower on Sydney Curve and online at ssp.care.
Well, we're getting closer to kickoff tonight, St. James versus Booker T. Washington in a region game. And, Coach, we've talked in the whole lead up here to speaking with you tonight about the fact that we need to focus on the big picture. And the big picture is you have 4 region games left to play.
That is true. We have, the meat, or what we call the meat of our schedule is coming up in these next couple of weeks. Starting tonight with BTW, now it's really important. We got one, so that's always good. But, tonight is really, really important. And going forward, every game that we play from here on out, means more than just your hometown rivals.
That's right. And tonight it is St. James versus Booker T. Washington. You look on film, they've got some guys who can run.
You look on film, you see speed, you see size. and that's a combination and a recipe for disaster. You know, when you fast and big, you know, they look really good on film. We got a really tough challenge ahead of us tonight, but I think our kids are up to the challenge, and I think we'll be ready based on scheme and what we got planned. So I'm hoping for a great execution on offense, no bust on defense. You know, and this week we can win the special team game like we didn't do last week. You know, we'll have a good shot because, you know, this could be another close one.
Well, this is the kind of thing, not to go too much into what I'm sure is your game plan, but watch them trying to punt the football, and I'm thinking Jimmy Perry would be licking his lips for blocking a punt tonight.
Yeah, you know, that's exactly right. You know, and you know, our special teams coach. Coach Hayden Stockton has got a good plan, you know, but my thing is, you know, everybody plays good against us. So, you know, he might kick a 50-yarder tonight. I don't know. It might luck up and hit one real good. It'll be just our luck, you know. But we still have a good plan.
Well, you know, this football team, yeah, it's been a long time since St. James was 1-5, and I said on one of the broadcasts earlier this season, this is a proud program, and it is a proud program. And going through a year when you're shorthanded and you've had transitions, but you sit right here where the playoffs is still a reasonable, reachable goal, and it starts here tonight.
Yeah, it does. You know, and we all said it in the staff meetings earlier in the season. You know, if we get past the first 3 or 4 games of our season, you know, we could still have a shot to be where we are right now. As a matter of fact, you know, because we knew that those non-region games were city games, and they were, you know, rivals and all that stuff, but they didn't count toward playoffs. You know, but you know, here we are now in the meat of our season, and we still got a shot.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your offense. Again, you know, 2 weeks ago you made a shift in formation, and I assume now getting ready for the third game, you know, running what I'm calling the wing tee. I realize that's not exactly right, but I assume you're able to do a little more out of that new formation than you were 2 weeks ago.
It is. It's really beneficial to us based on what we've done. And Coach Hammock, offensive coordinator, has done an awesome job of facilitating and putting everything in play where it needs to be based on personnel. And that's what we really looked at when we looked at doing this hybrid offense, is the personnel that we had and how can we put them in a position to be successful. And I think we found a way to do it, and the last couple of weeks has been good for them, you know, in terms of stats, in terms of productivity, and you know, putting points on the board.
And you ran the football very, very, very well last Friday night. More than 240 yards on the ground. I look at this game tonight. If you run for 240 tonight, you got a really, really good chance to win the game.
Yeah, just bar turnovers, you know, and bad plays defensively, you know. 240 tonight should, you know, put us where we need to be, as long as we score
when we get down there.
When we get down there, but yeah, that's a lot of production, you know, by an offense. You know, when you run over 200 yards anyway, but you still got to stick the ball in the end zone.
Well, Sonny Brastow with head coach Larry Ware, as we get real close to kickoff, talk a minute about your defense tonight and the challenge they face against a big, fast football team.
Huge challenge, you know, but we've seen similar athleticism at various points and times in the season up to now, but this bunch is a little bit more faster than, you know, we've seen. You know, scheme-wise, you know, we don't know exactly what they're going to come out and do, you know, to attack us with Quez. You know, he's such a versatile and so multi-dimensional. You know, we hope they keep him at wide receiver, because when he's at quarterback and he got the ball in his hands, it's just trouble for us, you know. But our defense is up to a challenge, and hopefully they'll respond.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time as we get ready for kickoff for region game between Booker T. Washington and St. James. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. This is St. James football on WRBZ.
When you speak with patients at Just for Grins Orthodontics, you hear things like, "The staff is great. My daughter's teeth look perfect. I've been using them for over 2 years, and my service has been nothing short of amazing." Or, "My teeth have always made me a little self-conscious. Just for Grins fixed that, and not only do my teeth look great, they make me feel great." If you or your family need braces or Invisalign in a lively environment using the latest technologies with over 3 decades of experience, let's make the smile of your dreams a reality. Visit justforgrinsortho.com.
If you want to see your money grow without a whole lot of fuss, well, you're sure to find some peace of mind at Riverbank and Trust.
Hi, this is Billy Wiggum with Riverbank and Trust. When you need a winning game plan for your finances, trust our home team of community bankers. From local banking expertise to newest innovations and technology, we have all the right strategies for your financial success. Experience the home team advantage for yourself at Riverbank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Confidence, experience, credibility. When your family is at stake, you need an attorney who's built a reputation on these 3 words. KD Steenwinder. Whether it's divorce, custody, adoptions, or child support, KD Steenwinder. Serving clients from Prattville and Wetumpka to Montgomery and Elba, KD Steenwinder has developed her reputation with credibility, experience, and confidence. Call the law office of KD Steenwinder in Montgomery, 262-2844. When your family is at stake, KD Steenwinder. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
If you're looking for commercial real estate, Moore Company Realty is your go-to choice. The experienced team has a deep understanding of local markets and can help you find the perfect commercial property for sale or lease. They also offer comprehensive commercial property management services to ensure your investment is well taken care of. Their expertise and dedication to client satisfaction has allowed them to thrive for over 130 years. Find out more at moorecompanyrealty.com.
You are listening live from the campus of Booker T. Washington High School here in western Tuskegee, Alabama, as the St. James Trojans have traveled about 35 miles east to face off against the Booker T. Washington Golden Eagles. The captains are at the center of the field and have made their choices. It looks like St. James won the toss, but for the first time this season actually elected to defer. Booker T. Washington is going to receive the ball first. St. James will defend the south end zone. Welcome, everybody. I'm J.R. Brown. Our technical director, Wes Stewart, is working on a little minor issue, which we hope we can fix. We've had a few, but so far so good. Kickoff is coming up in about a minute and a half. St. James is 1-5 with a 1-2 overall region record. They're facing one of the 3 teams in Class 4A Region 3 that is 3-0 in the Booker T. Washington Golden Eagles. The Trojans are taking the field across the sidelines. We're on about the 47-yard line, about 40 feet directly above the Booker T. Washington press box, and just below you hear the Golden Eagle Marching Band welcoming the Golden Eagles to the field. Very interesting uniform combination they have. The Eagles are wearing black uniforms with purple numbers with a narrow strip of gold around them, and golden helmets with the Eagles, black pants. St. James, of course, in their regular white uniforms with the royal blue pants and the white helmets. Again, St. James apparently won the toss but elected to defer. And as we're waiting for the clock to wind down, it is less than 10 seconds, and referees have taken the field and are waiting for both teams to take the field, and we'll get this game started. St. James is lining up, and again, we'll kick off. We have a very steady wind out here at the stadium. The wind is blowing directly in our face, east to west. This is a north-south stadium, but it's a pretty steady wind. The flags are extended, I'd say, between 10 and 15 miles an hour, and it will definitely be a factor especially in passing and lateral kicking. Dylan Hines is lined up on the very near sidelines to prepare for the kickoff, and we're going to have some issues with the numbers. So bear with us on the Eagles. The kickoff is coming up, and we are ready. St. James and BTW is underway. The kick is into the sidelines. It is fielded at the 2-yard line. Limperter has room, is up to the 30, and he's tripped up, falls forward to about the 34-yard line. Miles Zukowski in on the tackle, and the Eagles will take over 1st and 10 just short of the 35-yard line. In fact, they're going to mark him well back at the 32-yard line. Number 16, James Henderson, will start at quarterback. And very quickly, they had 3 wideouts. Talked to some of the fine people here at BTW earlier, and they said that quarterbacking might be their biggest issue. Sounds familiar. We'll see. St. James jumped on the first play, but not enough into the line of scrimmage to draw a flag. We do have a full working clock, and we have 40-second clocks in both end zones. A very nice stadium here. A little dry, as many of the grasses are, with a black field completely surrounding. First play handoff, and it's a broken tackle. That's number 0, Dylan Perter, one of the captains out there, was tackled in the backfield, managed to break the tackle, and did get back maybe to the line of scrimmage. And that's all. So it's going to be no gain, and it will be 2nd down and 10. Trojans in a standard defense, 1 runner back in the backfield, that is Perter. Henderson, the quarterback, 4 deep. 2nd down and 10. Looks like a change of play on the sidelines. Plenty of time left on the clock. Perter readjusts. Snap. On to Perter, and he finds room on the left side, and he's going to get maybe to the 35-yard line. Good to see Dawson Knowles again. Henry Wright in on the stop as well. Play is going to be good for maybe 2 yards, 3 at the most. It's going to be 3rd down and long, and so far 2 conservative calls from the Eagles. We'll see what they have here. Once again, 3 wide. Was 4 wide, but the tight end shifts in. Quick snap on 3rd down. Back to pass, and the pass is intercepted. It is intercepted by Luke Catchings. Went directly in front of the wide receiver intended and returned the ball to the 44-yard line. And St. James, which has not been able to force many turnovers, has one on the 3rd play of the ball game and has the ball in plus territory. 1st down and 10 at the Eagle 44. Ball, he had it read perfectly, had no trouble catching the ball, was tackled almost immediately, but St. James in great position. 1st down and 10 at the 44-yard line. Mason Craig is the starting quarterback. Trojans adjust in the wing T. First time behind it off to Grant Phillips, and he's got room up the middle. He's inside the 40, and he may be down to the 35, still being pushed forward, and he's not down yet. He carried at least 6 tacklers with him all the way down to the 30-yard line, and wouldn't call that a tush push. That was a Trojan push. Maybe 5 or 6 Eagles being pushed by 4 or 5 Trojans, and that ended up being a 14-yard gain and a very quick 1st down for St. James. Ball at the 30-yard line. We still have 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. St. James trying to take advantage of a quick turnover, and they almost turned the ball over himself, but there was a fumble on the snap, but it was recovered, fortunately, by Craig back at the 31-yard line. Looked like the snap may have been a little low and left. No harm done. It is a loss of a yard and a down, so it is 2nd down and 11 coming up. St. James again headed toward the north end zone where the school is located, about 250 yards to our north, right off of Highway 80 in West Tuskegee. Craig hands the ball at the middle, and no yardage this time, maybe back to the 30, but the yardage lost on the fumble was Zukowski. And in fact, they're going to give him no gain. The ball will still be at the 31-yard line, so it will be 3rd down and 11. The Eagles are up close to the line of scrimmage. They had 7, 8 maybe in the box that time. One wide receiver on the right and a cornerback is out there. The safety is playing less than 10 yards to the line, so up close. 3rd down, 11 yards to go. Dawson Knowles in motion. We got 2 receivers on the near side. Ball handed off and getting some yards. Zukowski in there, pushing him again. This time, forward progress is stopped at the 26-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 5 yards, and that's going to make it 4th down and about 6 yards to go. We'll see what St. James calls on. With this wind, a field goal opportunity might be a little iffy. The offense is going to stay on the field. Can't really afford to waste this good field position. 4th down, we'll call it 7 yards to go. Craig under the center. Ball at the 27-yard line. Needs to get to the 21 for the 1st down. Craig back to pass. He's got plenty of room if he wants to run. He will. And I think he's going to be hit near the line of scrimmage, but he may be short. He may have been knocked out of bounds. We're going to look on the far side. And he's actually closer than I thought, but he's going to be about a yard short, and the ball will turn over on downs. The Eagles are making their way off the field, and the ball got to the 21-yard line but needed to get a bit further. And so St. James doesn't get to cash in on that turnover, but the Eagles are back on the field. 1st down and 10 at the 21-yard line. 8:03 to go, no score. BTW turned the ball on the 3rd play of the game. St. James made a 1st down and then promptly couldn't convert the 4th down and 7. Only got 6 yards to go. Here's the 1st down. It's a pass. No, it's a keeper. And a big hit. Big hit in the middle of the line. Flag is down as well, and holding is going to be called against BTW. A tremendous hit there by Dawson Knowles. The play got back to the line of scrimmage, but St. James is certainly going to take those 10 yards worth of penalties. That's going to push the ball back near the 10-yard line. We'll see where they mark it. In fact, it was behind the line of scrimmage, so they're marking it all the way back to the 9-yard line. That's going to make it 1st down, and I'd say about 22 yards to go. On the scoreboard, we have correct time 0-0 the score in the 1st quarter, but no indication of down and yard markers, so we'll go with that. 1st down, 22. BTW pinned back in their own territory at the 9-yard line. Here's a handoff. No, it's a fake handoff, and a pass over the middle is complete. Luke Ketchings makes the stop. Cannot see the number of the game, but it was back out to the 22-yard line, so the yardage lost on the penalty is gained and then some. In fact, he's going to be marked forward. It was Marcus Simpson. He's going to be given the line all the way out to the 25-yard line. So it'll be 2nd down and 7. Herder with the handoff this time, and he's taken down at or behind the line of scrimmage. Darian Williams made the stop, but he lost his helmet, so he's going to have to leave the field for one play. It's going to lose about 2 yards, and again, a 3rd down and long. See if Luke is licking his chops. 3rd down, 6.5 yards, we'll say, to go from the just outside the 25-yard line. Eagles have yet to convert a 1st down, try to draw the Trojans offside, and fail. Still 12 seconds left, and a pretty quickly moving 1st quarter, already halfway down near the 6.5-minute mark. Here's the snap. Henderson preparing to pass, sees nobody, and not quite sure where that was headed. There was a receiver on the sidelines. That was number 4, Marquez Daniel, but pass was nowhere near him and nowhere near a Trojan, so that's harmlessly incomplete, and it'll be punting time for the Eagles. Looks like it may be number 16, Henderson, the quarterback, also dueling as the punter. Benton offered is deep at his own 45-yard line. And again, with the crosswind, will be interesting to see how punts travel. It's a good snap, a bit of pressure, and a good punt. Offord fields the ball at the 42-yard line and trips up. That is actually the first total punting yards of the entire season for St. James, and it looks like it'll probably officially be about a -2-yard return. Good punt. St. James will take over. Let's take a quick 30-second break. You're listening to St. James football on WRBZ.
When most people think of landscaping, they picture a few shrubs and a patch of grass. But at Tanner Landscaping, we transform spaces into lush, vibrant paradises. Based in Pike Road, our family-owned business specializes in both residential and commercial landscaping and irrigation. Our talented team is dedicated to making your landscape dreams come true. Find us on Facebook at Tanner Landscaping, LLC. We are proud supporters of St. James football. Go Trojans.
We are back under 6 minutes to go in the first quarter. Miles Zukowski got a carry off left end on the first play and picked up 2 yards out to the Trojan 42. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Score still 0-0, 5:30 to go in the first quarter. St. James defense looking good so far, holding Booker T. Washington to a pair of 3 and outs. And there we're going to have a false start on the far sideline. Looks like both players jumped, but Max Ward will get ticketed, unfortunately, with the foul. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. It might have been difficult anyway to get that play off before the 30-second or the 40-second clock expired. So it's back to 2nd down and I'd say about 12, maybe 13 yards to go at the 37-yard line. Michael Hassel is deep solo over here on the near sidelines. As you hear the Eagle Band cranking up, they're maybe 15 yards below me and about 10 yards to the right. Craig again under center. Ball handed off and finding room, getting the penalty yardage back and then some. Out across the 45-yard line, that's Grant Phillips to the 46. That's going to be a pickup of, I'd say, 9, maybe 10 yards to the 46-yard line. That's going to make it 3rd and considerably more manageable. 3rd down and 3. St. James needs to get to the 49.5-yard line to convert a first down. They converted a first down on their first offensive play. Zukowski has the handoff, and he's going to have the first down. He is to midfield, or he's brought down by a pair of Eagles. Number 55, Cameron Brown on the stop, but the gain of 4 yards by Zukowski is good enough for a St. James first down, and they have the ball at midfield. Once again, Hassel to the right. St. James been completely on the ground. Wing T in effect, only one wide out, very closely covered. Time on the clock, ball handed off the middle, and again, fake to Phillips, and Zukowski takes the ball, and he's going to be up to the Eagle 46-yard line into BTW territory for a 4-yard gain. Positive yardage once again on first down. They'll make it 2nd down and 6. Look across the side. We've got the St. James Band. We've got a good crowd in concrete stands on the far sidelines, about maybe 15 rows upwards and about maybe 30 yards across. Good crowd here on the BTW side as well. 2nd down and 6. Ball up again in the middle, and that time no yardage. Zukowski runs directly into the nose guard. And that's number 55, again, Cambrian Brown, who appears is going to be their defensive stalwart on the line as, again, they've got 8 to 9 people in the box expecting runs on most every play. No gain to the 46-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6. St. James has to get to the stripe of the Eagle 40 to continue this drive. Once again, Craig under center. He fakes the ball to Bass. He has time to pass. and throws it wide, and it's intended for Dylan Hines, but it was a little underthrown and batted away nicely by an Eagle defender, batted safely out of bounds, and it will be 4th down and 6. St. James looks to the sidelines. Hines, who was the intended recipient of that pass, will stay on the field, and he will get in punt formation. 2 minutes, 38 seconds, a rare scoreless first quarter. Got a pair of Eagles deep for the potential return. St. James again converted 1 first down but couldn't go any further. Hines has all time to punt. He's took about 6 seconds and then gets a big punt away. It goes down and then takes a backwards bounce, but it is stopped by a Trojan. Plenty of time because nobody rushed, and there was actually a chance that Hines could have run if he'd have wanted to. Probably wouldn't have made the first down, but a good punt inside to the 15-yard line. Let's take another quick 30-second break. You're listening to St. James Football on WRBZ.
When a sports injury has you sidelined, Baptist Ortho Now offers comprehensive orthopedic care with no appointment from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday, with board-certified specialists treating injuries and expert physical therapists administering everything from sports medicine to everyday recovery treatment. Baptist Ortho Now, getting you off the bench and back in the action. East Chase across from Target.
We are back, and we just had first down by BTW. A minimal gain, if any. I believe that's Perder again, stopped at the 15-yard line. Maybe a yard and a half gain on the first play. That's the middle of the line again with the stop. Hines was in there. Dawson Knowles making his presence felt. So we got second down and about 8 yards to go. BTW again trying to draw the Trojans offside deep in their own territory. They have not converted a first down yet. They did convert 1 first down. Oh, no, I take that back. They didn't after the penalty. And there seems to be some confusion. So a timeout has been called by BTW as they avoided a clock infraction. Got a chance for a break now. Let's take a 60-second one. St. James Football on WRBZ.
In challenging times, trust is everything. At the Bush Law Firm, they specialize in debtors' and creditors' rights, offering expert legal restructuring for businesses facing bankruptcy. As one of only 2 firms in Montgomery County equipped to handle such cases, the focus is on guiding you through insolvency with precision and care. Restructuring for a brighter future starts here. The Bush Law Firm. Navigate your path to stability. Visit us online at bushlegalfirm.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
If you want to see your money grow without a whole lot of fuss, well, you're sure to find some peace of mind at Riverbank and Trust.
Hi, this is Billy Wiggum with Riverbank and Trust. When you need a winning game plan for your finances, trust our home team of community bankers. From local banking expertise to newest innovations and technology, we have all the right strategies for your financial success. Experience the home team advantage for yourself at Riverbank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
We are back. The second down play was just run by Henry Robinson. He got up to about the 20-yard line on a wide sweep. Good tackle by several Trojans. Coming up on 3rd down and 3, we're losing time, and the ball is almost intercepted again. That ball was thrown right in Henry Wright's wheelhouse. There was a receiver downfield, but he was covered by Catchings. Wright knocked the ball down safely, and it is 4th down. And once again, Trojan defense, you couldn't ask for anything better. 3 possessions, 3 3-and-outs. And we're down within the last minute of the first quarter, 57 seconds left, and no score. Once again, looks like Henderson will be in to punt. And directly in front of me on the field is Offord, standing at the 48-yard line. And we'll see. And there's some trouble on the snap, but not a big press. So he gets the punt away. It is a very low punt and is going to take a somewhat favorable bounce back behind where Alford was. Was not a good snap and was actually off to the side, but a minimal rush. And St. James will take over first down and 10 at their 42-yard line. 44 seconds will keep it here. Once again, a very cool night. We've got a nice breeze. Definitely a good night for the long sleeves. A little early for jacket weather maybe. But once the sun went down and being about 4 stories up above the rest of the field, wind blowing directly in our faces, probably calmed down to about 10 miles an hour now. Hasn't had much of an effect on the kicking yet. St. James with Craig under center, first down and 10 at their own 42. 2 in the backfield. And once again, going up the middle and finding some room across the 45 up to the 48. There goes Zukowski again, bouncing off the tackler and being brought down. Again, some of the numbers we can't recognize. That's a single. It may be number 2, Raymond Minor. But that's a very good carry on first down, 6 yards for Zukowski. And in any kind of running offense, that's certainly what you want, is to get plus the sticks, get 4 or more yards on first down, so you're in good shape. 10 seconds to go. St. James should run another play for the end of the quarter. They do. Ball handed off to Phillips. He's going to take the ball into Eagle territory to the 49-yard line. He's going to be just short of the necessary yardage, and that is the final play of the first quarter. We are scoreless, but St. James is driving. We'll have third down and about 1.5 yards to go. Let's take a 60-second break. You're listening to St. James football on WRBZ.
Has an accident cramped your style? At Montgomery Paint and Body, we turn uh-oh into wow. Whether it's a tiny fender bender or total body repair, we'll have your ride looking stunning, maybe even better than before. When life throws a collision your way, count on us to smooth out the stress. We don't just fix cars. We treat every customer like family, because that's what the Turners are all about. From little fender benders to total body repair, visit Montgomery Paint and Body, East Shirley Lane on the East Boulevard, or call 27-REC. At Montgomery Paint and Body, your vehicle will be as good as new, maybe better.
Zaxby's is more than just a humble chicken joint. It's a humble chicken joint with the best sauces in the world. See, at Zaxby's, you don't just get their famous hand-breaded chicken fingers, fried to golden perfection with that flavor you know and love. At Zaxby's, you get the sauce. Dip, dunk, and drizzle with your choice of 12 different sauces like Zax sauce, tongue torch, and hot honey mustard. So if you want a whole lot of sauce, you need to find yourself a Zaxby's. Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's.
We are back for the second quarter. There was no score in the first quarter. St. James had the advantage, picking up several first downs, and they've got a good opportunity here. It's probably the shortest ever switch of the ball from the 49 of 1 yard line to the 49 of the next. On the 49 of the Eagles, third down, 1 yard to go. Big play again, Craig under center. Looks like he was trying to drive the Eagles off sides, and the handoff to the left side, I believe that's Zukowski again, and he's easily got the first down. See if that's Zukowski. It may have been Phillips. No, that was Grant Phillips. He takes the ball down to the 41-yard line. Big 9-yard pickup, and St. James has made the first down on each of their drives pretty easily, and then things tend to wind down a little bit. Still not a single pass play attempted besides the one attempt to Hines on the far sideline. Clock is running in the second quarter. St. James now headed toward the woods of southern Macon County. Phillips out in motion. And again, they're up close to the line. Craig gets a ball, and he finds a hole on the right side. Is taken down as he gets to the 37-yard line, but that's still going to be a 5-yard pickup. Number 1, I believe that is, Mikael Purifoy with the stop, but 4.5 yards, a plus gain on first down, and St. James offense on the field will keep this high-powered Booker T. Washington offense on the sidelines or playing defense, and that's a good thing. Second down, Counter to the right side, finding some room, but being taken down at the 45. That's for Bass. Brought down by number 5, Jalen Fitzpatrick. He's going to get to the 35-yard line. That'll be a pickup of maybe 3 yards. It'll be third down and looks like about 3.5 to 4. St. James can get to the Eagle 30-yard line. They will continue this drive, a very quick moving game with few incomplete passes. 10.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. We are scoreless. Again, plenty of men in the box. Zukowski has a ball. He's going to be taken down at the 27. Not going to be quite enough for the first down, but I'm sure St. James will consider going for it there. Number 59, Keon Walton, one of the pregame captains, was in on the stop. Now they'll move the ball back to the 33-yard line, so it is going to be fourth down, and we'll call it maybe 5 feet. Not quite 2 yards to go. St. James with 12 seconds left on the play clock. We're under 10 minutes to go. And a little bit more spread out this time are the Eagles. They need 1.5 yards. Ball up the middle and first down gotten with no problem. Zukowski takes the ball, falls backward inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. And it looks like St. James can get 3 or 4 yards pretty much off right end on any play they want. Going behind the fantastic blocks, that's, of course, Dawson Knowles is on the right side as the tight end. So first down and 10, St. James at the BTW 29-yard line. Let's see, and Craig back to pass and has wide open, and that's Zukowski. He is inside the 10-yard line. Looks like he slipped trying to make a cut, but that is a big gain on the first completed pass of the night, and he's going to be just short of the 5-yard line. He was absolutely wide open, and in case Craig needed to run, number 51, Landon Wiggum, the center, had pulled nicely. So first down and goal, we'll call it from the 5.5-yard line, and looks like Booker T. Washington has taken a timeout. They indeed have. 9:10 to go. Let's take a quick 30-second break. St. James threatening to score. We're listening to Trojan football.
Need a little good news in your life? Well, here's the deal. State Farm has new, lower car insurance rates in Alabama. So now you can get the great service and convenience of State Farm agent Brett Coney at an even better price. That's right. State Farm can help you save more cash and get the good neighbor service you deserve. It's the real deal for car insurance. State Farm agent Brett Coney is ready to help you save, Montgomery. Call my office today at 334-272-8423. That's 272-8423. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We are back. St. James is about to have a first down and 10 just outside the Booker T. Washington 5-yard line. 9 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the second quarter in a scoreless game. A little dark over there in that corner. Not the best lighting coverage in the world. It is on the far sidelines, on the far hash. St. James rushes up to the field. Booker T. Washington's already used 2 timeouts this half. There's a handoff to Zukowski, and he breaks a tackle and is going to gain a little bit of yardage. Finally forced out of bounds. He's going to be marked down inside the 2, it appears, looking at the referee on the near sidelines. We'll give him 3 yards on that play, and it will be second down and maybe about 5 feet to go for a touchdown. Second down and goal. Like I said, with the exception of that one fantastic pass play to a wide open Zukowski, it's been exclusively on the ground. And let's see, this time the ball is handed off to Andrew Yancey, but the Eagles are ready for him that time and slung him down backwards. 25 to Trevius Tatum pushed him back to the 3-yard line. So no backflip for Yancey this time. It's going to make it third down and 3 yards to go for the touchdown. And you can pretty much guarantee this is 4-down territory unless we have a big loss on the play. 8 minutes to go until halftime. Still no score, but St. James with the first real scoring threat of the day. Craig is under center. He pitches it out and going up the middle, finding some room, but not nearly enough. Just takes the ball and is going to be taken down at the 3-yard line. So that's going to be virtually no gain, and it will be 4th down. And it looks like St. James is going to bring the field goal unit in. They want to get on the board first. Ball will be spotted at the 3-yard line. It is on the near hash mark, which means Hines will have to kick the ball into the wind at an angle. And from the 10-yard line, this will only be a 20-yard field goal, but it is going to be a pretty sharp angle. See if he has time to get the ball off. They may. The clock ran out, which may have been a purposeful thing to get a better angle. St. James will be penalized 5 yards for delay of game, but like I said, that might be a penalty they want to take because that gives a much better angle for Hines to attempt his kick. Ball will be put out to the 8-yard line, and that'll make it a field goal from the 15-yard line, which would be a 25-yarder. Andrew Shaleta is the holder. Clock is running at 7 minutes, and Hines will attempt the 25-yard field goal. Here's the snap is good. The kick is wide right. It went straight. He did not get enough of the angle, and so we are still scoreless. And we'll see, last week they did not mark the ball correctly after a field goal. Ball will be spotted at the 20-yard line if they do it correctly, no matter whether the kick is from inside or outside the 20. And they did it correctly, this crew. Good job, referees. So St. James wasted a great opportunity. We're still scoreless, 6 minutes and 53 seconds in the second quarter, but I know Coach Corley and the staff has to be just absolutely thrilled with the defensive side of the ball on St. James. Still not a first down for the Eagles, and we'll think they will have to get a little less conservative. 4 wide receivers and a tight end on this play. Actually, that's a lineman. They have one in the backfield. Perter takes a handoff. He tries to reverse field, breaks a tackle, but is going to be taken down by Craig at the 23-yard line. Darian Williams also was in on the stop. Perter wanted to go to the right far side, but was very crowded there, and he was forced backwards. Probably ran about 25 yards to make a net of 3 yards. And so it will be 2nd down and 7 as the band cranks up. Definitely no need for a heat timeout tonight, so we won't have a break here as we get near the 6-minute mark. Booker T changing the play with 10 seconds to go on the play clock. And here's the snap. There's a pass over the middle. Pass is caught, and it's going to be the first down of the game. A high pass was grabbed. It looks like number 10. Cam Brooks got the ball, and he's out to the 43-yard line for a Eagle first down, and they've got a little bit of momentum, and they got a little bit of tempo as well. Snap, ball handed off on the right sideline and finding room into Trojan territory for the first down, making room all the way down inside the 40-yard line before Catchings pushed Perter out of bounds. And that's going to be a first down, 2 consecutive first downs, the first such by the Eagles. And they're already quickly from the 20-yard line down to the St. James 37. First down, another handoff, a slow handoff, but this time very small gain. Once again, that's Perter. He's taken down. Will Steenwinder had credit for the stop. He got inside the 35 to the 34. Eagles now using some tempo. That was a 3-yard gain there as we near the 5-minute mark of the second quarter with no score. 2nd down and a long 7 to go. Again, tried to draw the Trojans off sides. Failed to do so. Almost got one of their own men to jump. 10 seconds remaining on the play clock. And the handoff again to Perter, and he's going to be down to the 30, breaks a tackle, and is going to have first down yardage inside the 20. It was a very fine block by one of the up men on Darian Williams, which allowed extra yardage all the way up to the 19-yard line. So that's going to be about a 15-yard gain. And the Eagles are on the move, first down and 10 in the red zone at the 19. Anderson in the backfield, quick handoff. Herter takes the ball, cuts it up the middle, goes to the 10, the 5, and he is going to go all the way for an Eagle touchdown. That was definitely what the Eagles needed, a little tempo, and the ball handed up the middle. And let's see, I believe that was number 0. No, actually it wasn't. He's got a 1 in front of his jersey as we have fireworks celebrating the touchdown. And I'm still trying to get that number. 4 minutes and 36 seconds to go, and the scoreless tie is broken. And we'll see who'll get that credit, probably on the game film. Number 41, Alexander Williams, in to attempt the extra point. And the kick is up. Kick is good. Wasn't the best kick in the world, but it got up and over. 4 minutes and 36 seconds to go. Booker T. Washington 7, St. James nothing. We'll be back in 60 seconds. You're listening to St. James football on WRBZ.
If you or your family is a landowner, here is an important thing to know from On Point Habitat Management. The best way to improve the aesthetics and wildlife habitat quality of your property is with a prescribed fire burn. On Point's goal is to never send the landowner a bill, but to use funding available from the Department of Agriculture to accomplish the goals for your property. Consultations are free. Applications for the funding is free. Reach out to them at onpointhabitat@gmail.com.
Great smiles start at Montgomery Dentistry on Woodner Boulevard. Doctors Anderson, Robertson, and Bittner have over 55 years combined dental experience and are proud to be an active part of the St. James community. Montgomery Dentistry accepts most major dental insurance plans, voted best dental practice for 8 years in a row. Ask them about financing options to allow you to get your dental care now and pay later. Located on Woodmer Boulevard. Follow them on Facebook and visit them at montgomerydentistry.com.
We are back. Booker T. Washington has taken a 7-0 lead. Here's a kickoff. Alford fields the ball at the 15-yard line, has room on the far sideline. He's up to the 30 and across the 40. Taken down, followed, well, there may have been Delbridge on the return. No, it was Alford. Good block by Delbridge, who was back there with him, as well as Andrew Yancey. Return all the way to the 43-yard line. And St. James will have first down and 10 at that point. St. James had a great drive down the field, got as deep as the 3-yard line before being stopped and a missed 25-yard field goal, probably due to a sharp angle. And then Booker T. Washington got some tempo and took the ball 80 yards for the first score of the game. Here's the handoff, and it looks like Phillips. He's going to take the ball into Eagle territory, hit at the 50-yard line, and knocked backwards. Again, difficult to see those numbers. That may be in 15, Joel Brown. But a very good pickup on first down into Eagle territory. It will be second down and about 2.5 yards to go from the 49.5-yard line. We've hit the 4-minute mark. It would be great for St. James to get a score here because they will get the first possession of the second half. So about a 3:45 drive would be great. Phillips going laterally is going to get up near the first down marker before he's pushed back. He'll be stopped at the 48-yard line. Was going laterally and just could not find that hole. And looks like he's going to be a yard short. That's when the big yardage on first down helps out when you get stopped on second down. And it will be third down, and you can pretty much bank that anywhere in this neighborhood, just about anywhere on the field, especially on the Eagles side of the ball, will be 4-down territory. Craig has a snap, ball up the middle, and getting the first down easily. That's Phillips, it looks like, or it may have been Zukowski. and a little high to tell. Yeah, that was definitely Phillips with a carry, and he gets up to the 44-yard line, a 5-yard gain, and it'll be first down St. James. St. James has all 3 of their timeouts left, as we're now within 3 minutes, but they're in absolutely no hurry. Still 17 seconds on the play clock. Plenty of time. Again, a solo wide here. And Craig is looking wide and is going to take it and run and hit, but went straight up and went out of bounds at the 40-yard line. It was a hit that looks like both of the runners just absorbed the hit, although it looked like number 22, DJ Washington for the Eagles, may have taken the worst of that battle. It was a little slow getting back to the center of the field. Nevertheless, the quarterback keeper, 4 yards to go, and we're down to 2:05 in the half. Second down for St. James, 6 yards to go. We've got Alford here on the near sidelines out wide, and we'll see. And he's going to be sacked. Could not withstand the pressure, and Craig is taken down back in Eagle territory at the 49-yard line. Big loss. That's going to make it third down and probably 17, 18 yards to go. Looked like he had possibly 2 wide receivers, may have been looking for Knowles for a middle pass or Alford down deep. Clock continues to run, 1:20 and counting. Third down and long, 16 yards to go with St. James is back in their own territory. Craig will stay under the center, and the Eagles are pressuring again. Get the throw off as a play on the sidelines again. Completed. Kowski takes the ball and gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but is not going to have enough yardage to score. There is a flag on the play at about the 45-yard line. And holding is called against St. James. We're at 59 seconds remaining. Booker T. Washington has called their third and final timeout of the half, and it appears that they're going to decline the penalty, the ball will be up to the 45-yard line. It will be fourth down and 11. We'll keep it here as St. James on the sidelines. Booker T. Washington is out of timeouts, and do you want to risk having the ball, having a fourth down and a very tough 11 now that BTW is getting pressure on the quarterback? Or would you like a punt, pin them in, and take your 7-0 lump and know that you'll get the first possession of the second half going? It looks like the Booker T. Washington coaches have made their decision, and St. James still has time. Ball's on the far hash mark, and now the timeout is nearing an end. St. James would have 3 timeouts, so it's possible they could punt and pin the Eagles deep and stop the clock 3 times. And again, St. James has elected to punt. Hines will be standing at his 42-yard line, and a deep receiver is at the 10. You'd love to be able to get the ball inside the 10-yard line here. And here comes the punt snap. Hines with the kick. And it is going to bounces at the 10-yard line and goes backwards. An Eagle benefit. Zukowski stops the ball at the 15-yard line, but that's still a pretty good kick. BTW take over first down and 10 with no timeouts and 50 seconds to go. And we'll see if St. James gets a quick stop here. If they will take a timeout, we'll see what Booker T. Washington's strategy is. And it looks like they are not going to be conservative. They got the whiteouts again. We'll see if they go back to tempo, which seemed to be the best thing that worked for them in the first half. 7-0 Booker T. Washington, last minute of the first half. And once again, play being changed on the sideline. For some reason, the play clock did not run. Going back to pass and throwing, and ball is caught, but I believe it's out of bounds. It is. There's no catch. Receiver made a good catch to come back to the ball, but he was well out of bounds with both feet. Almost crumpled the 10-yard marker. So St. James gets a free timeout there with a, in essence, incomplete pass. Second down, 44 seconds to go, ball at the 15-yard line. St. James would love to force a punt and have a chance to block. They would have had a chance last time with a bad snap, but had a return on. Second down, here's a pass, and the ball is tipped and was a wounded duck, especially in the wind. We saw that one intended for number 2, Raymond Minor. Pass was incomplete. Good coverage by Darian Williams. And it's now third down. Still St. James has not had to use a timeout, and 40 seconds left on the clock. Booker T. Washington shows no signs of wanting to be conservative, although I wouldn't be surprised if they called a running play here. Third down and 10. They do, and it is not going to be enough for the first down. Perter takes the ball up to the 20-yard line, and very, very quickly, St. James calls a timeout with 31 seconds remaining. That's their first timeout. The play picked up, we'll say, maybe 4 or 5 yards, and that's going to force a Booker T. Washington punt. We'll keep it here at 31 seconds. Be sure to stay with us at halftime on the radio. Be sure you'll listen to some of the interesting stuff from Elisa Cantrell. And it looks like we've got Major League pitcher Davis Daniel as part of the lineup. It's just a guess from being able to look at the monitor as part of our halftime entertainment. If you're here in the stadium, you can watch both of the bands perform. The St. James band is lined up on the near sidelines on the track, ready to take the field. And they'll be able to do so in 31 seconds. Low-scoring game, 7-0. It looks as if BTW will punt. You can pretty much guarantee that the St. James punt block will be on. Alford is standing at the 50-yard line in case a punt gets away. Again, 31 seconds. St. James only had to use one timeout. We got Shalata and Williams covering the runners in case Booker T. Washington wanted to try something. But there are 8 on the line, and we got the snap coming up. It's a high snap, and he gets the punt away. But it is a very short punt and rolls dead quickly at the 31-yard line. It was a good job by the punter, Henderson, to grab that ball, and it was just enough prevention. And I thought a flag was on the play. It is not. We have 22 seconds to go, and St. James would love to at least get in field goal range. First down and 10 at the Eagle 31-yard line. We'll see if Craig is out of the center in the shotgun. No, he'll be under center. And we'll see first down and 10. St. James trying to set up with 2 timeouts. And the hand up off the middle and finding some room. Bukowski, and he's going to be not down yet, finally taken down at the 25-yard line. St. James takes the timeout. That was a rather long play, and the clock continued to run. The clock should have stopped at 11 seconds, but 3 extra seconds ran out. We'll see if it's get changed. That's their second charge timeout for the Trojans. And we'll keep it here again. Ball at the 25-yard line. It would be a 35-yard field goal from here. The ball is directly in the center of the field. It was a bad angle last time, and it looks like the 8 seconds is going to stay. The pickup on that last play was about 6 yards, which was good, but it was a time-consuming play. We'll see if St. James tries a quick play and get to the ground timeout. They probably ask Hines where he wants the ball. They do reset the clock to 11 seconds, which was a good thing. So that will actually give them time for one shot to the end zone if they so desire. Booker T's defense is matched up accordingly, and the timeout is nearing in. St. James does have one more timeout in case they are stopped in the field It is second down and about 4 yards to go for the first down, which is kind of meaningless here as we won't have more than 3 plays remaining, barring penalties. And in fact, right here, Hines is going to attempt the field goal right now from the 32-yard line. That is a 42-yard field goal directly in front. Here's the snap. The kick is up long enough. That kick sure looks good, and it is. 5 seconds to go, a 42-yard field goal by Dylan Hines, and that puts St. James on the board at 7-3. Kick was plenty long enough, would have been good from another 10 yards deep. So that'll be officially a 42-yard field goal. We still have 4 seconds to go, and St. James will get the ball to start the second half, and they will be having a kickoff coming up in just a few seconds. Once again, halftime coming up. Please sure to stick by, and you can watch online, and we'll see how the kickoff does. St. James will have the ball coming out in the second half, but you don't want to give up anything here. Kickoff to the end zone would be just fine, or perhaps something in the middle of the field, although the Eagles have 4 men stationed at the 30-yard line, so a deep onside would be a very unlikely try. Again, the ball blowing across the field from far side to near side as you look. Dylan is on the far side preparing to kick off, and we have a pair of Eagles deep on that far sideline. So here's a kickoff, 4 seconds to go. Pretty much any run will run out the clock. 7-3, Booker T. Here's the kick. It is a bit of and it is fielded. St. James has the ball. It was a deep offsides, and the clock had run out, but there is actually going to be another play as the whistle was blowing and a flag was thrown, and Booker T is going to be penalized 15 yards, probably for a late hit, and this will give St. James a second field goal opportunity in 4 seconds. Referees are discussing that was a deep onside, and it was fielded on the near sidelines. So it is a dead ball personal foul against Booker T. The clock has expired. Actually, 1 second was put back up. But because of the penalty, there would have been an untimed down anyway. And the penalty occurred at the 31-yard line. So St. James is going to get a 15-yard penalty. The ball is on the near sidelines as it was for the first field goal. And Hines is going to get 2 field goal opportunities within 4 seconds. Imagine that. So you could get 2 scores in 4 seconds and then have the ball coming out to start the third quarter. 1 second left. St. James trailing 7-3. Hines or Shalata will be at the 23-yard line, so Hines will be attempting a 33-yard field goal. This time he had plenty of leg. He's going to need the angle. Here is the snap. Kick is up. That kick looks good. That kick is good. So amazingly, 2 field goals within 4 seconds, and the first half is over. Booker T. Washington 7, St. James 6. Enjoy your halftime festivities. We'll be back in a little more than 20 minutes. You're listening to Trojan Football on WRBZ.
A Regions checking account can help you take your next step in life by giving you smarter, more convenient ways to manage your money. Open a Regions checking account today and bank safely and securely in a branch, online, on your phone, or with a phone call. You'll also love conveniences like text alerts, Regions mobile deposit, and our new bill pay system. Ready to move your life forward? To open a Regions checking account today, visit a branch or log on to regions.com/open-now. Regions Bank. Message and data fees may apply to mobile services. Mobile deposit subject to fees.
Hi, I'm Shelly Nichols. If you see home ownership in your future, the future is now. Helping people get mortgages is what I do at Cross Country Mortgage. I'll help you find the home financing option that's right for you. Go to my website at ccm.com/Shelly Nichols and follow me on social media. Contact me today at Cross Country Mortgage about a home loan. Equal housing opportunity, subject to credit approval, NMLS 430123, company NMLS 3029, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This is Judge J.C. Love in the Montgomery County Probate Court, wishing the St. James Trojans football team a winning and successful football season. Go Trojans. And while we're cheering for victory on the field, we're also protecting victories at home. Don't let property title fraud take away what you've worked so hard to build. Sign up today for the Probate Court's REACT program, the Real Estate Activity Alert and Contact Tool. It's free, it's fast, and it helps safeguard your property. Protect your property, protect your future. Learn more at www.reactnow.com. That's www.reactnow.com. Go Trojans.
Discover your stunning new look at Doug's 2 Salon. Find your breathtaking new hairstyle or color with our expert stylists and salon artists, and look absolutely radiant with our extensions, balayage, and keratin treatments. You'll find products from Aveda and Bumble & Bumble. So even when you leave the salon, you keep looking sensational. Call to make your appointment and look and feel amazing today.
Welcome to this week's Trojan Spotlight. I'm Alyssa Cantrell, the Director of Advancement, and I'm thrilled to have Davis Daniel with us this week. Davis, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Davis, what year did you graduate from St. James?
2016.
2016. That's what I thought. I knew it was right around there. Davis, as many of you may know, is a Major League professional baseball player, and we'll get into that a little bit later on in the interview, but thrilled that he was able to take time out of his busy schedule to share about his St. James experience, what he's been doing since, and even a little bit about his family life. So Davis, let's talk a little bit about how you feel St. James prepared you after, when you graduated to go off into the great big wide crazy world we live in.
Yeah. Going right down the road to Auburn University, I think, having a lot of people in my corner and people pulling for me just as I went 45 minutes down the road. A lot of familiar faces around campus, and that stuff was always really nice. Originally, I was going to go to NC State, which is a little bit further, a little less familiar. So once I made the decision to go to Auburn, I think the transition from St. James to Auburn was super easy, super smooth. Everything academics wise, I think I had a good head start on a lot of things that most people probably don't. And then as far as like stuff on the field and playing baseball, I was prepared for what I was going into, and the work ethic and everything else that it took to succeed there.
Yeah. You've had kind of a fun, not necessarily straight line adventure since you left Auburn. Talk a little bit about your professional baseball career and that we've all been following, and where kind of all that's led you and where you are now.
Yeah, the world of professional baseball is chaotic and day to day, and you kind of never know where you're going to be, but it's a lot of fun and something that I love to do, and it's always nice when you get to play a game for a living. So
yeah,
went to Auburn, and my sophomore year got drafted, decided to go back to school for my junior year. In the beginning of my junior year, I tore my UCL in my elbow, so I ended up having Tommy John surgery, which is very common nowadays. A lot of people know about it. So I had that in my junior year, and that led me to getting drafted by the Angels at the end of that year. 2019 didn't play because I was rehabbing, so that was kind of my first professional season, but didn't do anything. 2020 was canceled for COVID. So then 2021, almost 2 years after I was drafted, was the first time I finally got to play professionally. So that was a bit of a journey getting to that point. The 21 was a successful year. Started the year in high A, which is like lower level rookie ball type stuff. And I went from there to Double A, which was actually in Huntsville, Rocket City Trash Pandas. That was a lot of fun playing up there, being close to home. And then finished that year in Triple A, which was Salt Lake City, Utah. The next year, 2022, started the year in Triple A, got called up for the first time on my birthday in June, which was awesome. Unfortunately, I didn't get to pitch, which kind of made it not as enjoyable, but it was still awesome to get your first taste of the big leagues.
Yeah.
go up there and be around the guys and just be in a big league stadium and, kind of know what it's about. And so I was there for a day, didn't pitch, got sent back down, and then spent the rest of the year down in AAA. That off season, I had another little injury, which led me to miss a lot of the 2023 season. And then at the end of 2023, I finally got to make my major league debut in Anaheim, which was awesome. All my family was there, friends, which was, just an unbelievable experience and something that I'll never forget. And then it's kind of been up and down since then. I think a lot of time in AAA, some time in the big leagues, just kind of bouncing around. Like I said earlier, you never really know where you're going to be. So going into this past off season, we felt like there was a good chance that I was going to have a chance to try and make the team in Anaheim. Ended up getting DFA'd and traded over to the Atlanta Braves, which was unbelievable timing because me and my wife were about to have our baby, and being closer to home, having some family to help was unbelievable. It's been a long year. It's been an adventurous season. Got a chance to pitch 3 games up there with Atlanta most of the year here in AAA. But it's been a fun year. It's been nice to be close to home, have some family close by, and have friends be able to just make a nice little 2-hour drive over here to see us. So it's been great.
That's great. And if I recall in talking to your mom, y'all had your baby and then you pitched a game like 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah, they called me, I guess like 2 or 3. So I was supposed to go home for a whole week for her to be born. Our AAA team was going to Indianapolis. So they just told me to take the week off, and I went home and they called me and they said, "Hey, you've been throwing the ball well. We're looking like we're going to need a starter in St. Louis. It's, 2 days after your baby's born or supposed to be born. Like, would you be willing to come?" And it was just kind of one of those opportunities that me and my wife were like, I don't think we can pass this up.
Yeah.
At this point, I had only pitched 1 game in the big leagues with the Braves up to that point. So it was just kind of like, if we're going to have this opportunity, I think we should take it. So I ended up actually leaving straight from the hospital the day after she was born to go to St. Louis. It made the decision a little easier because it was the last game before the All-Star break. So I knew that I was going to go to St. Louis for basically one night and pitch and then come back the next day for 4 days.
Yeah.
So that made the decision a little easier, but it definitely was not ideal to leave the hospital and then have my wife go home from the hospital with her parents without me.
Yeah.
So that was not the easiest decision, but I think it's something that we needed to do. And luckily I went up there and pitched well and earned myself a few more days in the big leagues and ended up getting one more start out of it. So
Good. And it's great that you have a supportive wife who understood the balance of that at that time. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. She's traveled with me ever since we've been married. So she understands the baseball world. She knows how important these opportunities are and, how few of them there are sometimes. And
Yeah.
a lot of this sport is the opportunity and timing and taking advantage of those opportunities. So she understands that, and she's very supportive of it. I appreciate her a lot for that.
That's great. Your mom, who, tried to retire and we roped her back into sticking around in a different role, has been with St. James on the faculty and staff for a number of years. And it's fun to follow you through her. And she's always so excited when anything amazing happens in your life, whether it's, new baby or baseball or whatever. She always just glows walking down the hallway, and we all love to see it.
That's good.
We talk a lot about, since you kind of left, like we've kind of solidified the core values of the school that we work with our students on, and their character, commitment, courage, and community. They're not anything different than what St. James has always practiced and put into play. But can you talk a little bit about how maybe the values that were instilled in you through your time at St. James? If I remember correctly, you were here in pre-K or at least kindergarten, right?
Second grade was my first
Okay,
year.
second. Okay. Can you talk a little bit about how St. James kind of shaped who you are as a person?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just the people and faces that I was around from a young age, I think, the teachers that I still remember to this day from second grade all the way up that, poured time and not just time that was required, in the 7-hour window or whatever it was of school, like the after school time, the before school time that teachers and coaches and, all these faculty members just poured into me and my classmates and other things. I think, it was a lot because, yeah, they're showing up for work and they're doing their job and they're doing whatever they're paid to do in this window, but they're also going above and beyond and really caring about their students. And it meant a lot to me. I think, I can go back and think of a lot of the teachers that took a lot of extra time to help me out. And I think it made me really grateful. And then you get out into the real world and people don't look out for you like that. So it was really nice to have that and look back on that. And I try to instill those same kind of things into the people I work with, the people that I'm around, because I know how much it meant to me growing up, and I'm really thankful for it.
That's great. And I love that you're trying to carry that forward for those that you get to interact with and touch. I think that's so important. Let's see. Let's talk about new life as a dad. How's that going? How's that treating you?
Oh, it's been amazing. She's beautiful. She's amazing. She's sleeping pretty well, which is great. It's been really fun. It changes your perspective on life a little bit, which is pretty crazy. How quickly that happens. One day you think about that going into it. Everybody tells you it, but it's like the minute that you hold your baby girl for the first time, it's like nothing else matters, which is pretty amazing.
It is. You're right. It's it'll kind of rock your world instantaneously, which is kind of an interesting, you don't really understand it till you are in it and realize how much you would give for that little bitty person that, just showed up in your life.
Absolutely. I mean, I just think back to like how important baseball's been my entire life, right? How much I've cared about it, how much I've put into it, like all these things. And then it's like, now I can go out and I can have a bad game. And it's like, yeah, I can sulk for a little bit and then I go home and there's just this little tiny human that relies on me and doesn't care what I did at work that day.
Right.
And it's been really awesome experience and the way that it's changed my life for the better and my headspace and everything else. It's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Well, Davis, I really appreciate you taking time. I know your schedule's crazy and busy, and I appreciate you taking time for us today. I know everybody's excited to hear your story and your journey, and we look forward to seeing you next time you're in town. I hope you'll stop by and see everybody. I know lots of people would love to shake your hand, give you a high five, give you a hug.
Absolutely. Hopefully I can make it by soon.
Yeah, I know. Well, thanks again, and we'll kick it back to the crew in the booth. Go Trojans.
Go Trojans.
I'm Cliff Meidel, two-time Olympic athlete in the sport of sprint kayaking. In 1986, my life changed forever when I struck 3 buried high-voltage cables while working on an excavation site. 30,000 volts of electricity blew through my body. I'm lucky to be alive and able to walk again. Accidents like mine can be avoided with a simple call to 811.
Accidents can happen to anyone. Know what's below. Always call 811 before digging. Brought to you by Alabama 811.
Hello, I'm Sheriff Derek Cunningham of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. We're a proud supporter of St. James football. Being a member of this community and knowing that these students are part of our community, we at the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office would like to let you know that we support you this football season and we're here for you this football season.
If joint pain or athletic injury has you out of a game, call the Houston Clinic team at 334-245-6605. Doctors Lee Murphy and Derek Wessner are seasoned healthcare providers working to provide high-quality sports medicine care to the athletes of the River region. Dr. Murphy is an orthopedic surgeon. His clinical focus is on shoulder, elbow, and knee disorders. Dr. Wessner is a veteran and primary care sports medicine physician specializing in the primary care treatment of all musculoskeletal conditions. Visit Doctors Murphy and Wessner at Houston Clinic on Taylor Road in Montgomery.
Go, go, go! That's life, and at CB&S Bank, we help you keep up. We're redesigning financial freedom with the most sophisticated digital products. Check balances, pay bills, transfer funds, manage your card, and even deposit checks from wherever you are. Make purchases using your CB&S Bank debit card through your mobile device with Mobile Wallet in participating stores and restaurants. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
Well, this is Sonny Brasville at the St. James mobile radio studio, I suppose. It's halftime. Trojans trail Booker T. Washington 7-6 in what's a very important Region 3 Class 4A high school football game. And JR and Wes doing a great job bringing it to you. We're glad you've joined us here on what's a beautiful night for football all over the state of Alabama. Before we talk about some details from St. James and as well as looking around at some 4A scores and scores of interest in Montgomery, there's a big one going on in Class 4A down in Clark County in Jackson tonight. The number 1 ranked Jackson High School team versus second-ranked St. Michael's from Fairhope, of course, coached by former NFL quarterback Phillip Rivers. And at halftime, St. Michael's leads Jackson, a huge surprise, 21-17. And it's kind of a who's who of college coaches there at that football game tonight. We know 2 Alabama coaches left here from Tuscaloosa this afternoon and flew down. And South Carolina offensive coordinator Mike Shula is there to see the quarterback from Jackson, who is committed to South Carolina. And that game's a big one down there, impacting the standings in that Region 1 area in Class 4A. And this one here in Tuskegee, a big one for Region 3 of Class 4A. The Trojans kicking 2 field goals in the last 4 seconds of clock time in a very, very unusual manner. St. James getting a 42-yard Dylan Hines field goal just before halftime, and then really just trying to squib the football to run out the clock. The Trojans were able to fall on it, and Booker T. Washington got a late hit penalty and moved the ball down inside the 20, and Hines kicked another one through, and the Trojans just trail by 1 point and get the football to start the second half. So St. James has an opportunity not to get what they call a 2-for-1 possession, which is when you're able to score right at the end of the first half and then you get the second half kickoff. But this would really be a 3-for-0 scoring opportunity for the Trojans, getting those 2 quick field goals and then now having the opportunity to receive the second half kickoff. A couple of other real important games going on in Region 3 of Class 4A. Hanley leads Bullitt County 20-7, and that's an important game. There are 3 teams that are 3-0 and undefeated in Region 3 of Class 4A. That's Hanley, Bullitt County, and, of course, Booker T. Washington. Hanley up by 2 scores, and Booker T. Washington has suffered an injury last week of their outstanding quarterback, and so we'll see what that does with the Bullitt County team going forward. And then not a bit of a surprise, a significant surprise up in Cleveland County, where St. James will play next Friday night. The Cleveland County Tigers lead the Tallahassee Tigers 3-0 at halftime. If those 2 scores stay like they are, and the Trojans could get out of here with a win tonight, the standings in Region 3 will be turned upside down. If in fact those scores hold, St. James would be right back into the thick of a hunt for what would be the Trojans' 12th straight season making the playoffs. But a lot of hard work. The Trojans have had a really difficult time throwing the football, relying on running it out of that wing T formation. But when attempting to throw the ball, the Trojans have just had an extremely difficult time giving the quarterback Mason Craig enough time to throw the football tonight. And as we spoke last Friday night at halftime, Trojans We're tied 14-14 with Trinity, and we said last week St. James has just got to complete 3, 4, 5 passes in the second half to have a legitimate chance to win. And although, again, a number of things happened last Friday night in the second half, in the end, it really was the Trojans' inability to complete a pass here and there and to keep Trinity back out of the box, to back those safeties up. And, I think St. James faces the same challenge here in the second half against Booker T. Washington. Can they throw just a little? If you could complete 2, 3, 4 passes and back those safeties up just a couple of yards, then running the football becomes much, much easier. And again, St. James to get the kickoff to start the second half. A couple of other scores of interest in Montgomery. Houston Academy in Class 3A leads Alabama Christian 14-0. And then in a bit of a surprise at halftime, Montgomery Academy leads Trinity 14-0. Both teams have returned here at Booker T. Washington High School, just outside Tuskegee. St. James warming up in Booker T as well. The Trojans will receive the second half kickoff. And we're going to take a 1-minute break. And when we come back, we'll hand the microphone over to J.R. Brown, and he'll bring you the play-by-play story. Trojans trail by only 1, but they get the football. You stick with us. This is St. James football on WRBZ.
From all the employees at Adams Drugs, we want to say thank you to those who already trust us with your health care and prescription needs. If you are looking for a pharmacy, we would like to invite you to visit our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find a location nearest to you. We have 12 locations in the River region with services such as wellness screenings, blood pressure checks, and compounding, just to name a few. Please come in and experience the Adams Drugs difference. We look forward to serving you and your family.
All aboard for Healthy Smiles. At Dentistry for Children, they love to make kids smile. Dr. Schreiber and Dr. Thomas specialize in pediatric dentistry, treating infants, children, and patients with special needs. You can trust Dentistry for Children to provide the highest quality care for children of all ages. Beautiful smiles begin at Dentistry for Children. Call today to make your appointment with their professional caring staff. Dentistry for Children in Montgomery and Wetumpka, proudly making kids smile for over 40 years.
We are back here at Eagle Stadium with the halftime festivities coming to a close. St. James trails Booker T. Washington only by a 7-6 score, a really frenetic last 10 seconds of that second quarter. Dylan Hines elected to try a field goal on third down, could have moved quicker, made a field goal with 4 seconds left on the clock, kicked a deep onside kick, and it was recovered, and a very costly 15-yard penalty gave him a chance to make another field goal, this one from 33 yards, and it was good. So Hines made 3 stellar plays: field goal, deep onside kick, field goal in 10 seconds, and St. James cut the 7-point lead to 1, and they're going to receive the ball to start the second half. Thank you again, Sonny, for handling the scores and everything. Of course, Booker T. Washington is 3-0 in the region. The big game in the region this week is Bullitt County and Handley, 2 teams St. James has already fallen to, but the winner of that game will certainly be heads up in the region championship race. And if somehow St. James were to manage to come back and win this one, I'm sure Bullitt County and Handley would both be very happy with that result, because that would leave only one undefeated team in the region. Eagles are prepared to kick off from directly in front of me at the 40-yard line. 41 Alexander Williams to kick off. Not very deep at the 15-yard line are Benton Offord and Michael Delbridge. And they're getting ready, and we're about to start the third quarter of play under a almost clear sky, about a 3-quarter moon. Here is the kick, and it is going to be fielded by Delbridge at the 19-yard line. He's going to go forward, gets to the first line, and bumps into an Eagle, and is knocked out of bounds, but a very fine return out to the 45-yard line. And St. James will have great position to start the second half, first down and 10. Again, the St. James defense pretty much held the Eagles in check for the exception of one 80-yard drive when they put tempo in play, but when they were pinned back in territory, the Eagles could not convert a first down, and it hurt them. St. James back in their wing tee. We have two wideouts, though, on the far sideline. First and 10 at the Trojan 45. Ball handed off and not able to find room. That was Phillips, and he was taken down in the backfield at the 43-yard line. Play loses 2 yards. It'll be second down. We did confirm that the Booker T. Washington touchdown was scored by number 24, Jaden Woods, who had his jersey wrapped up. That's why nobody can see him. We had to get that confirmed from the people next door, from the people down on the sidelines. But he got credit for the Booker T. touchdown. Second down, 13 yards to go for the Trojans back in their own territory at the 43. There was quick pressure, and pass is complete. Breaking a tackle, Phillips. He's hit out of bounds just short of the 50-yard line. Somebody got through to Craig and touched him as soon as he got the snap, but it was only a touch, thank goodness, and forced Craig back, and he had room to complete the pass to Phillips and turned a potential disastrous play into a moderate gain, ball all the way up to the 49-yard line. It's going to be third down, and we'll say maybe a short 6.5 yards to go as we played the first minute of the third quarter, and the reception was out of bounds, so the clock is stopped at 11:01. St. James at the 49-yard line, their own, need to get to across the 45 of the Eagles to continue the drive. There's the snap up the middle and being taken down in Eagle territory, but not near the first down. It was Zukowski who made the ball, who made maybe 2 yards on the game, went 49-49. And St. James is going to play the field position strategy. It seems as the Eagles have had trouble moving the ball when they're pinned deep in their own territory. And we'll see if Dylan Hines can provide another fantastic kicking play like he has. Fourth down, about 4.5 yards to go. Receiver deep at the 10-yard line. 5 seconds left on the clock. Good snap. The kick is up, and it is going to be let loose. A good bounce this time. Is going to bounce, rolled inside the 10-yard line and then headed back up the field, down by Darian Williams right at the 10-yard line. So the Eagles will start their first drive in the second half there. First down and 10. We'll keep it here. Again, like I said, with the exception of one 80-yard drive, I don't believe the Eagles made a first down on any of their other 3 possessions. And it was definitely a field position issue. So we'll see. The tempo seemed to work, and we'll see if they continue that and if the St. James defense can continue their stellar performance. First down, Eagles at their own 10-yard line, have to go 90 yards. Here's a pass, and it is complete, and one tackle broken, but nevertheless short yardage. Looks like number 4, Marquez Daniel, and looked like he had an opening after he broke a tackle, but he was taken down. I believe that was maybe Phillips or Luke Catchings, and that's still only a 2-yard gain. The tempo is in. Second down, running play, Purder, and he is going to get up to the 15, 16-yard line on the far sidelines. He ran into Dawson Knowles. Also went on the stop, Steenwinder. It's going to be third down and 4 or 5 yards to go. A quick transaction and just be able to get off the field with Steenwinder. Third down, 4 yards to go. And here's a pass. It is complete. Craig could not make the tackle, and he is loose. That is number 4, and he is going to be not taken out of bounds, and he's going to go all the way for a touchdown. That was no further than a 5-yard screen pass. And number 4 Marquez Daniel took it. And that's going to be a Booker T. Washington touchdown. Craig had a chance to tackle him maybe for the first down, but a little more, and a tackle was missed at the 30-yard line, and the lead is back up to 7 points for the Eagles. 8 minutes and 55 seconds, a 90-yard drive took place in 4 plays. And we're going to call that. Ball was at the 19-yard line, an 81-yard kick. There's the kick. And that kick didn't clear the bar by more than a foot over or past, but it went through, and it's good. 8 minutes and 55 seconds to go. Your new score, Booker T. Washington 14, St. James 6. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to St. James Football on WRBZ.
Nothing gets your attention like the pain you get when it hurts to walk. When you have that pain, reach out to Southern Specialty Physicians. Dr. Brian Sellers is a board-certified vascular surgeon with over 15 years of experience. And Dr. Brandon McCullum is an experienced podiatrist. Southern Specialty Physicians are working to keep Alabama walking. Located across from the AUM Water Tower on Sydney Curve and online at ssp.care.
We are back. Booker T. Washington just drove on their first possession 90 yards in 4 plays. We're going to make that an 81-yard touchdown reception by Marquez Daniel, breaking tackles and giving a lead of 8 points now to Booker T. Washington. They prepare to kick off. We've got Alford and Delbridge deep at the 15-yard line. St. James will be playing catch-up. There is the kick. Line draw fielded by Alford at the 14-yard line. He switches sides, breaks one tackle, goes wide, and another good return up to the 34-yard line. Taken down by several more Eagles. It will be first down and 10 for St. James at the 33-yard line. Said St. James has pretty much been exclusively on the ground with just a few pass plays, very successful, a few incompletions as well, and lined up in the wing tee again with a single wideout on the far sideline. I'm sure that's Michael Hassel. In motion, Phillips in the backfield, Craig under center, hands the ball off to Phillips, and he's taken down in the backfield. They were looking for that one. And that's number 26 again, or correction, 25. Demetrius Tatum takes the ball, and it's going to be probably a 4-yard loss. So we'll be second down and 14. 8 minutes and 26 seconds to go in the third quarter. Booker T. Washington Golden Eagles up by 8 points. Second down. Craig with 3 in the backfield. And he is looking to pass. He has time. There's that pass on the left caught by Dawson Knowles, but a short gain taken down about when he catches the ball, and it's going to be maybe a 2-yard gain at most. That may be optimistic. That play seems to work better when the ball is on the near hash mark and they have a lot more room to operate. So we're going to give him a 3-yard completion. It'll be third down and 11, and St. James needs conversion now. It'll be difficult to pin deep the Eagles on a punt from here, although Hines certainly has the leg. Here we go. Craig looking to pass, looking for space. A screen pass is good, and finding room and getting the first down over on the far sidelines. Although we have whistles, there is a flag on the play. Unfortunately, couldn't tell who the recipient of the catch was. There's a flag. Don't think there was holding on the play, but we'll look and see. It's behind the line of scrimmage, so there can't be an eligible receiver downfield. But St. James is moving back. And Yeah, that must have been an illegal forward pass of some kind. I don't know who the receiver was, but he may not have been eligible. Anyway, that penalty is going to be 5 yards and a loss of down. So not a first down for the Trojans, a penalty, and it will be 4th down all the way back to the 26-yard line, and Hines will have no chance but to punt here. 7:21 remaining on the clock. BTW up 14-6. Wind still blowing pretty steadily across the field. The BTW receiver only about 30 yards downfield. We'll see if Hines can get, and that is not a good punt at all. That is sideways, and it hits out of bounds short of where the first down marker would have been at the 34-yard line. That's going to be a net of about 10 yards. There was some pressure, but the ball definitely went off the side of the foot, and the wind just carried it directly out of bounds. No chance for any kind of good bounce, so the ball's at the 34-yard line, and we'll keep it here as BTW has their best field position of the night by far, 1st and 10 at the Trojan 34-yard line. Number 6, Jeremiah Kitt in at quarterback, through the long touchdown pass a moment ago, and it's 1st down. St. James needs to stop here. Back, and he's going for broke, and the pass is over everybody. It was incomplete. Closest to the ball was Catchings, but it was well over his head, the ball to the goal line. Eagles going for the knockout punch, perhaps. Right down the middle, a nice post pattern, but well overthrown, and it is 2nd down. 7:09 to go. Again, Eagles have continued to use tempo. Ball handed off and making a stop, but being taken down. No, not taken down. Reversing field and now being taken down for a big loss. Trying to get too much. Hines with the tackle. Looks like that may be Perder number 0. We'll double check that. No, it's a double-digit number. So the loss, however, was a big one, a loss of 8-9 yards, and the player comes off injured. That's number 24, Jaden Woods, who caught the first half touchdown pass. So a big loss. It'll be 3rd down and 22 yards or so to go. Ball back at the 43-yard line, and several Eagles got a big head start that time. You could tell where that play was going. It was going to be a long pass down the near sidelines, but false start is going to push the Eagles further back near midfield, all the way back to the 48-yard line, and it's going to be 3rd down and 27 yards to go. They have to get all the way down to the Trojan 23-yard line to convert this 1st down. So big play. We'll see. We had a Eagle standing off sides, but he got back. Here's the pass up the middle. It is caught at the 40-yard line, tackled immediately by Darian Williams. Number 13, Jalen Price with a catch. Ball to the 40-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 8 yards, and it will be 4th down and about 16 yards to go. Although being in Trojan territory, we'll see what the Eagles plan to do. They send in their punter, 16 Henderson. He's back in Trojan territory. We'll see if they try to force pressure on the punt as we've gone inside 5.5 minutes of the 3rd quarter. Here's the snap. It is low, and the punt is off. A quick punt, and it is a short punt. Does take a favorable Eagle bounce, and very good bounce as it rolls inside the 10-yard line. And very interesting dance there by the Eagles, trying to get to go further. St. James will have its worst position of the night at the 10-yard line. Let's take a 30-second break real quick. St. James football on WRBC.
When you speak with patients at Just for Grins Orthodontics, you hear things like, the staff is great. My daughter's teeth look perfect. I've been using them for over 2 years, and my service has been nothing short of amazing. Or, my teeth have always made me a little self-conscious. Just for Grins fixed that, and not only do my teeth look great, they make me feel great. If you or your family need braces or Invisalign in a lively environment using the latest technologies with over 3 decades of experience, let's make the smile of your dreams a reality. Visit justforgrinsortho.com.
We're back on first down. Zukowski carried the ball as St. James tries to match Booker T. Washington's 90-yard drive. First down picked up 4 yards. It's now second down, 6 yards to go from the Trojan 14. Booker T. Washington up 14-6, 4 minutes, 45 seconds to go in the third quarter. St. James needs a sustained drive and would probably attempt a 2-point conversion for a tie. Let's get a first down or two first. There's the ball handed off and going down almost immediately. That was Ford Bass, and he's going to be dropped back at the 12-yard line. That's going to be third down and a long 8, maybe 9 yards to go. Coming up for St. James. Booker T. Washington's defense has played pretty well. In the first half, St. James was getting 4 to 5 yards per carry on first down, and it seems to have been cut down a little bit, making third down harder. Here's a play up the middle and getting some yardage, but not quite to the first down marker. Phillips is going to take the ball up to the 18-yard line. That's still going to be 2 yards short of the necessary yardage. And quickly the Trojan punt unit comes back on the field. Had a bad punt last time, but fortunately the Eagles offense did not help out any and actually went backwards on their drive. So no problem. But currently the Eagles had the field position advantage. So Hines is going to be back at his 5-yard line and try to punt. St. James only had 10 men on the field. They've got another one in. Clock continues to run, and will they get the punt off in time? They will. Hines' punt is much better, and it's going down the far sidelines, and it is taking a bounce into Eagle territory. The ball will roll dead at the 35-yard line. It was almost touched by one of the Eagles for some reason. Should have been nowhere near the ball, but that punt will be much better. That'll be approximately a 50-yarder. There is a flag on the field way back at the line of scrimmage. I have no idea what that is. Let's see what the call is going to be. Looks like we've got a holding call against Booker T. Washington. Must have been on the gunner on the far sideline. It was after the kick. So it looks like the Eagles will be penalized 10 yards before they start their drive from the 35 back to the 25-yard line. Such is the case. And they'll start first and 10 from the 25-yard line, 2:56 to go. Again, 14-6, Booker T. Washington. And they will start their third drive of the second half. Ball's getting exchanged and now getting marked off back to the 25-yard line. And Booker T. in their 4-wide alignment already and ready to go. First down and 10. Quarterback Kidd is marking his wide receivers, and here's the pitch, and he keeps it himself. Not the best handoff. He's going to take the ball up to the 27-yard line. Had a bit of a carry, or had a bit of momentum, it appeared, but ran into Zukowski and Henry Wright. Dropped him at the 28-yard line. We'll give him a 2.5-yard gain. It is second down. A little tighter at the line, and here's a quick pass behind the line of scrimmage, breaking one tackle, but not another as the block failed. Shaleta made the tackle on the far sidelines, and ball is going to be back to the 26-yard line. It's Perez on the catch. The ball was back behind the line of scrimmage. The first tackle was missed, but the blocker was not successful in stopping his man, and the play was dead in the water after a yard loss. Third down, 8 yards to go in the last 2 minutes of the third quarter. Booker T. Washington ahead by 8. Kidd ready to pass. His pass is incomplete on the near sideline, intended for number 19, Micah Bedgood. Dove for the ball and would have been close to first down yardage, but it goes out of bounds and incomplete. And the St. James defense holds on a 3-and-out. That's their third 3-and-out drive of the game. And should pick up a little field position after that fine punt, as the Eagles will punt from their own 27-yard line. 1 minute, 47 seconds to go. Alford is at his 40-yard line, ready to return one. Again, in the first 6 games of the season, St. James did not have a single yard of punt return. They had a punt return in this game, and I'd estimate it went for -2 yards, definitely looking to improve. Of course, they did recover several blocked punts. Here's a punt, and it's going deep. It's going to go actually toward the Trojan end of the field, a good high punt, and it is fielded or downed at the 33-yard line. Some very unique downing methods by the Eagles, and St. James will take over 1st and 10. Let's get a real quick 30-second timeout. St. James football on WRBZ.
A fire can spread through your home or business in less than 2 minutes. That's why it's important to think ahead and have the proper fire protection installed before it's needed. Brendel Sprinkler Company can inspect your current system and help make sure that you have the proper equipment when it's needed. Brendel works in new construction, existing homes, and renovations. They not only want to help extinguish fires, they want to save lives. Since 1960, with over 5,000 successful installations. Find them online at brendelsprinkler.com.
We're back in the first down carry up the middle. Phillips takes the ball to the 35-yard line for a 2 or 3 yard gain. Will be second down. Looks like Craig is trying to set up on the far sideline, Alford, for a one-on-one situation and let the ball go deep. And this wind might be difficult to get a pass that deep, but now Michael Hassel is taking the potential deep route, one-on-one coverage. Trojans have 8 men on the line of scrimmage, 3 in the backfield, and here's a handoff and finding some room up to 40. Bass is slung forward. Ball came loose, but he was down on the play. That's going to be marked at the 43-yard line. It's going to be a good gain, but still about a yard. They're going to mark him way back at the 42-yard line now. Guess when they slung him down, his knee hit the ground. So it's going to be third down. We'll call it 2 yards to go from the 42-yard line. Perhaps time for one more play. We're down to 25 seconds in the third quarter. Third down, 2 yards to go. Handoff. No. Craig takes in the pass to Zukowski. Is complete. He's across midfield. And that play, which has worked 3 times tonight for good yardage, is going to be good enough for a St. James first down. 12 seconds to go. We'll see if St. James elects to take another play. It doesn't appear that they will. And like the first quarter, when the ball was at the 49-yard line, the ball will be at the Eagle 48, and it will be moved here as we end the third quarter. St. James with the ball, trailing by 8, 14-6. A 60-second break. St. James football is on WRBZ.
Confidence, experience, credibility. When your family is at stake, you need an attorney who's built a reputation on these 3 words. Katie Steenwinder. Whether it's divorce, custody, adoptions, or child support, Katie Steenwinder. Serving clients from Prattville and Wetumpka to Montgomery and Elba, Katie Steenwinder has developed her reputation with credibility, experience, and confidence. Call the law office of Katie Steenwinder in Montgomery, 262-2844. When your family is at stake, Katie Steenwinder. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
If you're looking for commercial real estate, Moore Company Realty is your go-to choice. The experienced team has a deep understanding of local markets and can help you find the perfect commercial property for sale or lease. They also offer comprehensive commercial property management services to ensure your investment is well taken care of. Their expertise and dedication to client satisfaction has allowed them to thrive for over 130 years. Find out more at moorecompanyrealty.com.
We are back at the home of the Booker T. Washington Golden Eagles in Western Tuskegee. We are about to start the fourth quarter of play. St. James has the ball in Eagles territory. They did convert a first down on a Zukowski reception, first down and 10 at the Eagle 48-yard line. BTW leads 14-6, but St. James has picked up a first down and will continue to drive. Craig under center. Bass in motion. Handoff up the middle, and several of the players went for the handoff. Ball was handed off to Phillips, and he dives forward to the 47-yard line. That's going to be a short gain, and it's second down. The wind seems to have picked up even more. It's probably blowing at, I'd say, 15 to 20 miles an hour now. The moon is still pretty much bright, a little bit of cloud cover, but really no threat of rain tonight, but a very football-y atmosphere finally. Remember, the first 2 weeks of the season were cool, but they were due to rain. This is a dry, cool, windy, football weathered night. Second down, ball handed off Phillips. He's got some room on the outside. The hole closes, but he's being pushed forward by Shalata and company up to the 41, maybe the 40-yard line. So second down and 9 is going to turn into third down and about a yard and a half. Great gain and great push there by the Trojans. Going to be just short of the 40-yard line. Needs to get to the 38 would be safe enough for the first down. We are in the last quarter, 10 minutes, 45 seconds and counting. St. James will be lucky to have maybe 3 more possessions. So this is a big play. Third down, a little less than 2 yards to go. Craig takes the ball and the handoff up the middle, going across the 40-yard line down to the 38, maybe the 37. And a little slow to get up. That was Zukowski, but he's making his way. And quite frankly, I feel it was a poor spot. Ball at the, I was fixing to say, it was spotted back at the 39, but it was moved forward to the 38-yard line. And those 2 yards are good enough for the Trojan first down. St. James moving methodically, keeping the high-powered, although sporadic, BTW offense off the field. First down and 10. Craig looks to throw. He has time. There's a pass to the right. It is complete. It's incomplete. Knocked out of the hands of Zukowski. He tried the same play, which has been successful, but tried it to the right side. And probably just as well that the clock stopped on an incomplete pass, as would have gained no yardage or very little yardage anyway. We're now at the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter. St. James defense playing well, with the exception of one 80-yard drive and one nearly 81-yard pass, as the Eagles lead 14-6. St. James hadn't reached the end zone yet, but had a 2 field goal and 4-second flurry earlier. There's a handoff, and that play didn't look right at all to begin with. Craig had to keep the ball and managed to get back up to the line of scrimmage, but no further. The up man appeared to have missed his block, and somebody got through on the other side of the center Wiggum. Ball actually going to be back at the 39-yard line, so it's going to be third down and long, 3rd and 11. We'll see if we have a different pass play. You would expect a pass to be called on this play. The one we've seen. Number 14, Capilouto, is on the near sidelines. Almost get a jump. And look out for Craig. He's being chased from behind. He's going to try to run, and he's going to be forced out of bounds behind the 40-yard line. Nobody was open. There were 3 potential receivers, Capilouto and Phillips and Zukowski, but none of them could get open, and probably the smart move was just for Craig to take the ball out of bounds. Would be credited with a sack, the Eagles were, that lost about 2 yards. Did stop the clock with 9:10 to go, and St. James will punt and again try to pin the Eagles deep. Hines is standing at his own 46-yard line. And number 4, Daniel, who scored the 81-yard touchdown, is at his 10-yard line. Bit of a high snap. Kick gets away, and it again bounces backwards. Then at about the 12-yard line, bounces back to the 20-yard line, picked up by Delbridge, and the Eagles will take over there, first down and 10. Exactly 9 minutes to go. Let's take a 30-second break. St. James football on WRBC.
When most people think of landscaping, they picture a few shrubs and a patch of grass. But at Tanner Landscaping, we transform spaces into lush, vibrant paradises. Based in Pike Road, our family-owned business specializes in both residential and commercial landscaping and irrigation. Our talented team is dedicated to making your landscape dreams come true. Find us on Facebook at Tanner Landscaping, LLC. We are proud supporters of St. James football. Go Trojans.
We are back in on first down. It appears that the Eagles may want to run some clock now. They handed the ball off to Daniel on a sweep, a bit of a reverse. Made it up to the 27-yard line before he was tackled. That's going to be a 6-yard gain. Good gain on first down for the Eagles. And it's second down. Their conservative look lasted one play as they've got 3 wideouts now. Another handoff and going up the middle, going down immediately. Trying to isolate the runner. And that was number 16, Henderson. He's taken down at the line of scrimmage, maybe up to the 28-yard line. So it'll be third down and I'd say 2.5 yards to go. We're at the 8-minute mark and counting. St. James trailing by 8 points, 14-6. Kitt is back to pass. He gives a handoff. The ball is fumbled. It is picked up by the runner, and he is going to be taken down. Was behind the line of scrimmage, but he managed to make gain, and he may have gotten up near the first down yardage. The ball was fumbled, and St. James was looking for the ball on the ground, and the runner managed to get enough yards up to the 32-yard line for a definitely busted play, first down, and the Eagles will continue to eat clock as we're down to 7:45 and counting. First down and 10. BTW at the 32-yard line. Oh, a fumble right there would have been nice. Here's the handoff, and finding room up the middle, up near the 40-yard line is Zero Perder. He dives forward, tackled by the Trojan line. As Steenwinder got stopped, but the Eagles now doing what St. James did in the first half, getting positive yardage on first down. That's a 7-yard pickup, and it will be second down coming up, and the Eagles are not in nearly as much hurry to run the play. Here is the handoff. Oh, it's a pass down the middle and wide open. If it's caught, it is, and it's going to be a very easy touchdown. Number 2, Raymond Minor, got behind Andrew Shalata and was 20 yards past him, and a very easy pass and catch, and the Eagles have increased their lead. It looks like the play that St. James was trying to set up, but very well executed, and the wind may have helped out on a play as the ball was down the near sidelines, and number 2, Minor, was good. That's going to be a 62-yard touchdown pass, and the lead is now 14 points at 20-6. Alexander is going to be in to attempt the extra point. And here's the kick. And the kick is no good. We didn't get any call from the referees in the end zone, but the referee short called it, so the lead will stay at 14, 20-6. Let's take a 60-second break real quick. Trojan football on WRBC.
When a sports injury has you sidelined, Baptist Ortho Now offers comprehensive orthopedic care with no appointment from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday, with board-certified specialists treating injuries and expert physical therapists administering everything from sports medicine to everyday recovery treatment. Baptist Ortho Now. getting you off the bench and back in the action. He's Chase across from Target.
In challenging times, trust is everything. At the Bush Law Firm, they specialize in debtors' and creditors' rights, offering expert legal restructuring for businesses facing bankruptcy. As one of only 2 firms in Montgomery County equipped to handle such cases, the focus is on guiding you through insolvency with precision and care. Restructuring for a brighter future starts here. The Bush Law Firm. Navigate your path to stability. Visit us online at bushlegalfirm.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
We are back and getting ready for the Booker T. Washington kickoff. Just a third touchdown pass by Jermaine Kitt, that one of 61 yards to a wide open Raymond Minor. And St. James is now almost in desperation mode as they trail by 14 with 6:49 remaining in the game. Here is the kickoff. It is fielded by Delbridge at the 15-yard line. He goes to the middle and finds room, and ow, he is flattened. Big hit right there at the 27-yard line. Delbridge gets up, but a very big hit, and I'm trying to give credit. That one looks like it was Perter, number 0, making himself well known on the defensive side, but you could almost hear that one up here, even over the Eagle band. And St. James will take over first down and 10 at their 27-yard line. 6 minutes, 41 seconds to go, and St. James has been methodical in moving the ball when they've been able to, but now the time is called for a giddy up and go, and for the first time tonight, Craig is in the shotgun, and we've got 5 deep, and a flag is down. It looks like we've got too many on the field. We do. We've got 12 Trojans on the field, and so a 5-yard illegal substitution penalty will be accessed. So back to the 22-yard line, and it'll be first down and 15. No time, of course, runs off, but, 12 on 11, that's not the way the game was designed, although it's definitely an advantage to the offense if you can get away with it. So now first down and 15 yards to go. Craig back at the 22-yard line. Pass complete on the sideline, getting back the penalty yardage and going forward to the 30-yard line. Let's see if that was Catchings. It was Catchings, number 8, on the sideline up to the 29-yard line. So got back the penalty yardage plus a few, so we'll make it second down and 8. Let's see, St. James has 3 wide receivers wide side, Capilouto on the near sideline, and they'll be in throw mode now. Craig has room, and a pass is intended on the far sideline for Catchings. It was out in front of him and incomplete, and it will be third down. The only thing good about the incomplete passes is that it does stop the clock and gives the Trojans a chance to rewind, but we'll say conversion on this down is probably necessary. Maybe too deep for the Trojans to attempt a punt, but this late in the game, it may be a no-choice factor. Catchings offered, and Phillips are deep on the wide side. We've got Michael Hassel, I believe, on the near side. Third down, 8 yards to go. Craig looking for time. Tries to run up the middle, and he's going to be grabbed and taken down for a loss behind the 25-yard line. It was good coverage in the secondary by BTW, and St. James is going to have no choice now after about a 4-yard loss on the sack to punt. Time running out. Neither team has taken a timeout thus far in the second half, but Hines needs a big punt here as the receiver, and I believe that's Henderson's going to be at the 39-yard line. St. James letting valuable time go off the clock. There's the punt, and it's going to take a favorable bounce somewhat. It's going to roll dead at the 40-yard line. and BTW will take over first down and 10. Let's get another 30-second break real quick. St. James football on WRBC.
If you want to see your money grow without a whole lot of fuss, well, you're sure to find some peace of mind at Riverbank and Trust.
Hi, this is Billy Wiggum with Riverbank and Trust. When you need a winning game plan for your finances, trust our home team of community bankers. From local banking expertise to newest innovations and technology, we have all the right strategies for your financial success. Experience the home team advantage for yourself at Riverbank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
We're back, and after the first down carry by Jaden Woods, he's broke a tackle and is going to go down at the line of scrimmage. There's a flag on the play. Oh, no, I guess not. There was a discussion, but no flag. If there was one, it was picked up. The play failed to gain. Clock runs at 4:35 and counting. Booker T up 20-6. Second down, and we'll actually give him maybe a yard gain, and that's about to be negated by a flag as Daniel got a false start, headed down the field. Looked like they were going to try that long pass again. That's going to move the ball back 5 yards. We'll stop the clock temporarily. Ball back to the 38-yard line. It will be second down, and we'll call it 13, 14 yards to go. Time running out for the Trojans. They need a stop and a quick score and probably another onside kick. They converted one earlier in the game. Booker T. Washington doesn't seem to be too concerned about wasting time. There's a handoff up the middle, getting back to penalty yardage and finding room on the outside. Getting out of bounds in Trojan territory once again is 24 Woods. And he's going to be down to the 45-yard line of St. James. And that's going to be good enough for an Eagle first down. Stops the clock at 4:11, but the Eagles looking for blood, trying to score more in St. James territory at the 45-yard line. And you know the St. James defense now starting to get a bit tired. The starters have played the entire game, of course, and we got a few hands on hips. And Booker T has plenty of skill players available. A clock was restarted, even though the play went out of bounds. Handoff up the middle. And finding room to the outside is Purder. Gets to the 39-yard line. Slung down by Henry Wright. But, again, like St. James is getting in the first half, 6 to 7 yards is what the Eagles are getting on first down. And they are, as you'd say, ahead of the sticks. Still in tempo, but making yardage to the 38-yard line, 3:20 to go and counting. And now it looks like the coaches have said, hey, slow down. We're not in any big hurry. Let's keep the ball and hopefully make St. James start to want to use their timeouts. Play clock down to 5. Second down, 4 yards to go. Handoff. Purder, he's going to have the first down, and he's going to have room on the sidelines. He stepped out of bounds, fortunately, or he would have gone for another touchdown. Out of bounds at the 22-yard line, knocked out by 22, Andrew Shaleta. But that gain is good, and the Eagles are driving again. Ball at the 22-yard line, and thank you, band. It's kind of unusual that the band would be playing while their team had the ball, but in a celebratory mood as it appears the Eagles may be headed toward their 5th victory of the season and a 4-0 region record. First down and 10 from the 22-yard line. Pass is complete, but Daniel is going to be stopped on a very, very short gain. Hines with a stop. Play is going to pick up maybe a yard, maybe 2 at the absolute most, to the 20-yard line, and now absolutely no hurry for BTW as they are within striking range, and it's only 2.5 minutes to go in the game, and we'll see if St. James starts calling timeouts after this play, if they get perhaps a stop. Second down, 8 yards to go. Still the Eagles showing 4 wide. The clock continues to run down to 4 seconds on the clock. And finding room up the middle, being knocked back pretty well, is Woods. He gets up inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. And it's a gain, and looks like it's going to be third down and maybe a yard and a half. And St. James is really in no hurry to stop the clock now. Booker T. Washington's in no hurry to run a play. And whether or not a timeout will be called will probably be the result or after the result of this play. 13 on the play clock. We're down to a minute and a half. BTW up by 20-6, thanks to 2 long second-half touchdown passes. Here's the snap. And taking the ball on the right side and going for first down yardage down to the 3-yard line. Looks like, once again, that's Woods, and it's going to be first down and goal for BTW. Clock stops with the first down at 1:17. They're going to spot the ball at the 4-yard line, actually. And it will be first and goal. Clock restarts, and BTW waiting for a call from the sideline. St. James trying to keep the Eagles out of the end zone for several more plays, and we'll see if another play is even called. 10 seconds on the clock. We are under 1 minute to go in regulation, and it looks like the down call was made by the coach on the sidelines, but a delay of game was going to be called as no play was run, and that'll be a 5-yard penalty. Move the ball back to the 8-yard line, making another score more difficult, but only 41 seconds left on the clock. With the delay game, the clock will not start, so at least 2 more plays that appear will have to be run. First down and goal now from the 8. Looks like Wood in the backfield. He'll take the handoff, and he's going wide. He's got one person to beat, and he's going to do it. He falls into the end zone for a touchdown for the Eagles. And we'll confirm that is. And there go the fireworks. Nice touch. It looks like instead that is going to be number. I can't see the number. It is 24. Woods, and that'll be a touchdown with 32 seconds to go, and the lead is increased to 26-6. St. James is in this game, started the third quarter, but 2 long touchdown passes and a touchdown run there of 8 yards. The last minute of the game. That extra point is no good. It's low and to the right. So the lead will be 26-6 with 32 seconds remaining. So it looks like St. James is going to fall to 1-3 in the region, but as crazy it may sound, they have played, the 3 losses are to what are considered the 3 top teams in the region, and they, quite frankly, have a chance in each of their last 3 region games, and I would wager to think a 4-3 record in the region just might be good enough for a playoff spot, although be it the not so much desired 4th playoff spot. St. James coming onto the field, and the Eagles will kick off one more time. 32 seconds to go, and we'll see what St. James does, if they simply fall on the ball or try to get a quick score. The kickoff return would be nice. The kickoff return team is in shorter. Williams is preparing to kick off, discussing something with his up man, and here's the kick. It's a short kick to be fielded by Alford at the 19-yard line. He's going to break one tackle and break another tackle, and he's going to dive forward to the 44-yard line on a good return. Good block by his helper, Delbridge. Also, Capilouto with a block downfield, and ball to the 45-yard line. And St. James will have 25 seconds trailing 20. And we'll see what the Trojans choose to do. Looks as if Phillips will be, here comes Craig. I thought Phillips might be the quarterback, but Craig is making his way onto the field, but I really don't see St. James running anything out of the ordinary or taking a timeout. A good effort by St. James, especially on the first half defense, but several big plays were costly. And they didn't even start the time clock. So here's a handoff. It's going to go to number 32. That's a different runner. That's Cameron Hartley, the 8th grader, takes the ball up to the 49-yard line of the Eagles. That's a pretty good gain of 6, maybe 7 yards. But it looks like the teams are going to the sidelines, and that will be the final play of the game. There is no horn on the clock, but we can verify the clock has run to 0. And your final score for tonight is going to be the Booker T. Washington Golden Eagles 26 and the St. James Trojans 6. We'll be back with a brief game recap. Let's do a 2-minute break and get some words in from our sponsors. Again, 26-6 BTW recap coming up. You're listening to St. James Football on WRBC.
Has an accident cramped your style? At Montgomery Paint and Body, we turn uh-oh into wow. Whether it's a tiny fender bender or total body repair, we'll have your ride looking stunning, maybe even better than before. When life throws a collision your way, count on us to smooth out the stress. We don't just fix cars. We treat every customer like family, because that's what the Turners are all about. From little fender benders to total body repair, visit Montgomery Paint and Body, East Shirley Lane on the East Boulevard, or call 27-REC. At Montgomery Paint and Body, your vehicle will be as good as new, maybe better.
Zaxby's is more than just a humble chicken joint. It's a humble chicken joint with the best sauces in the world. See, at Zaxby's, you don't just get their famous hand-breaded chicken fingers, fried to golden perfection with that flavor you know and love. At Zaxby's, you get the sauce. Dip, dunk, and drizzle with your choice of 12 different sauces like Zax sauce, tongue torch, and hot honey mustard. So if you want a whole lot of sauce, you need to find yourself a Zaxby's. Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's. Need a little good news in your life? Well, here's the deal. State Farm has new, lower car insurance rates in Alabama. So now you can get the great service and convenience of State Farm agent Breck Honey at an even better price. That's right. State Farm can help you save more cash and get the good neighbor service you deserve. It's the real deal for car insurance. State Farm agent Breck Honey is ready to help you save, Montgomery. Call my office today at 334-272-8423. That's 272-8423. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
If you or your family is a landowner, here is an important thing to know from On Point Habitat Management. The best way to improve the aesthetics and wildlife habitat quality of your property is with a prescribed fire burn. On Point's goal is to never send the landowner a bill, but to use funding available from the Department of Agriculture to accomplish the goals for your property. Consultations are free. Applications for the funding is free. Reach out to them at onpointhabitat@gmail.com.
We are back here at the home of Booker T. Washington. The Golden Eagles, for the first time in 4 tries against St. James, are victorious on the varsity football field. The final score again, 26-6. It was a low-scoring game in the first half. Number 24, Marquez Woods, got a touchdown for the Eagles in the second quarter at 4:36, a 19-yard pass to conclude an 80-yard drive, and the extra point gave BTW a 7-0 lead. At the end of the second quarter was really a bizarre sequence. St. James, after a punt, took the ball over on the BTW 31-yard line and moved the ball very quickly with 10 seconds left on third down. Dylan Hines and the coaching staff elected to take a field goal attempt, which they made after missing one earlier, which cut the lead to 7-3 with only 4 seconds remaining. St. James elected to try a deep onside kick, and it was fielded by the Trojans over on the 31-yard line or so, and then a late hit penalty well after the whistle had blown gave St. James 15 extra yards, and Hines got a chance to attempt another field goal with really no time left on the clock. A second was added just for cosmetics, but he made the 33-yard field goal. So it's not often you hear of a field goal kicker making a pair of field goals in 4 seconds of clock time. St. James was definitely in the game at 7-6, but they really couldn't generate much offense in the second half, and 2 long passes by Jeremiah Kitt, one of those an 81-yarder to Marquez Daniel, and a 62-yarder to Raymond Minor pretty much set the tone, and then a late touchdown in the last minute was added by Nsu with the touchdown in the first half. He scored on an 8-yard touchdown run, and 2 of the 4 extra points were made, giving BTW a 26-6 lead, and that puts them 4-0 in the conference. They are now 5-2 overall. St. James falls to 1-6 overall, and they are 1-3 in Class 4A Region 3. But it's important to note that the last 3 opponents for St. James also have losing records in the region, and St. James has played the 3 toughies and gotten them out of the way. So we'll see what happens. St. James plays its final regular season road game as we travel for the first time ever to Claiborne County, or to Heflin, to face off against Claiborne County. That'll be next Friday night at 7:30. And, of course, you can listen to the game here on WRBZ if you're not able to join us in Heflin. There's a possibility we'll have both me and Sonny Brasfield, as he has relatives living in Heflin. So it might be a tag team effort, and maybe St. James can pick up a win and get back on the winning note. The band has completed the alma mater for the players, and they're on the sidelines talking to parents. Looks like we had no injuries. Of course, on the sideline, Andrew Sellers had his foot in a boot and did not play, but most of the rest of the Trojans, besides Walker Wilsford, all appear to be healthy, and let's hope it stays that way. And again, St. James with 3 games remaining, 1 on the road against Claiborne County, and then home games to wrap up the regular season against Tallahassee and Munford before an 11th week off day, and we'll see if there's a game in the 12th week in the future. Once again, your final score was Booker T. Washington 26, St. James 6. All of you headed home back to Montgomery. If you're going down Highway 80, be sure to watch out for the deer. I'm sure the cool weather has stimulated them. We thank, as always, our sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. We thank the folks back at Little Engine Broadcasting. I mean, big thanks to my helper, Wes Stewart. He helped me get up and hopefully will help me get down the steps up here. They're pretty steep, but it was real good. He's a technical master, and he did another fine job tonight. Again, we thank all of you for listening across the river region and across the world on the internet. Once again, the final score, Booker T. Washington 26 and St. James 6. We thank you for listening. We'll see you or talk to you next week from Heflin, Alabama. You are listening to St. James football on WRBC.
Thank you for joining us for Trojan football. This is Head of School Dr. Larry